And when we whoop enough ass, everybody gonna get in line and do right. All right, peace and blessings, assalamu alaikum, shalom. Welcome everybody, welcome. We have a full stage tonight. And we have a very good topic that we're discussing tonight. Our topics are lessons to be learned by Black people looking at the Israeli and Hamas war. This thing that's going on is very important, especially when it applies to how Black people should be looking at this thing. I want to welcome I Am Legend in the house. I want to welcome Deacons of Reality in the house. We want to go ahead and get our panel introduced. We'll go with Doc, then we'll go with Sister Valerie, we'll go with Isaiah and Realm in the Bush in that order.
Dr. James Thomas Jones III, African American Studies professor, HBCU professor. I'm just happy to be here.
All right. Now, Doc, you are the only one on the panel that has been a fellow at the Jewish Memorial thing. So
the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum.
Yes, sir. Now, could you explain exactly what does that mean that you was a fellow there?
I was selected out of a host of individuals to participate in the Jack and Anita Hess fellowship program. So they basically took us up there, and fellowships can last anywhere from a month all the way up through a year. I was there for close to 6 months total. And you have access to their archives. They put on different programs that you're invited to participate in, and you in many ways get a very good opportunity to see behind the scenes, see some things as far as their archives go that are not privy to the public. It's a very, very, very good thing to do. And it actually taught me a whole lot about, of course, the history of their people, but also the persuasive nature of telling a good story, and how, depending upon how you present that story, it will dictate, of course, how people react to it. And I'll give you one example. You don't have, you don't see with them any shame surrounding the Jewish Holocaust. You see a actual embrace of that, and you see it also being utilized in a host of ways as a educational tool, as almost a bully political pulpit issue versus our people. And if you talk to, and I would venture to guess that for the vast majority of Black students, this would be true, that when the issue of slavery comes up, when the issue of Jim Crow is raised, our kids begin to squirm in their seats as if they're ashamed of that past, as if that is attributable to our people having done something wrong, being weak, being disorganized, what have you. They don't do that. And one of the reasons why they don't do that is that they educate and they teach their own curriculum. And so the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum is in many ways a testimony to how well they're able to tell their story. And when you consider that none of the quote unquote atrocities that occurred in the Jewish Holocaust occurred on American soil, yet we still paid reparations to them, and we still on a yearly basis pay for the maintenance and the operation of the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. Compare that to the hundreds of years, not just 15 years of the Jewish Holocaust, but compare it to the hundreds of years of the African Holocaust that happened here on this soil. And yet we have black folk, notable black folk, who had to reach into their coffers and put all our pennies together to try and even get the African American museum created, to get the thing, to get it created, to and to have it operating on a yearly basis. So just those types of things, and it gives you a different view of the utility and use of history. And I yield.
Doc, do you know the amount of reparations that America pays them?
Not off the top of my head, I don't. We can find that out, but as far as the reparations of historical or for the operation of the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum,
Both, if you have it.
I don't have that in front of me. I can search for it and probably find it. But one of the things that you have to remember, and it in many ways worsens what we're talking about with the African American Museum having to be um, black dollars had to be raised to have that operating. The United States Holocaust Memorial Museum is not the only Holocaust Memorial Museum in this nation. We have one here in Houston. Okay, so you have these smaller venues, and right now this is something I hope it doesn't spike your blood pressure. But right now, the Houston Holocaust Memorial Museum is actually has a display of the Green Book of where African Americans, we couldn't stay in hotels and what have you. So
Hmm.
right now, that's what they're doing. They've created an exhibit, and I want to say it's a sister behind it, but they were the financial backers behind it. And we have elementary, middle, high school, and even collegians. I know that a group of students from my school are going to be taken down there to see the basically the Jewish portrayal of Black history. But that's what occurs when you're not organized and focused, and you're distracted easily, and you don't see the utility of Black solidarity across the board. So, yeah.
Mm. Wow. Good information, Doc. Good information. And we want to welcome Brother Willie Rivers to the program. Peace and blessings, big bro. We're glad you're with us. All right. Next.
Hi, my name is Valerie. I'm an author. I have my own home based business. Change One Thing, Change Everything is my YouTube channel, and I'm glad to be here on tonight.
Thank you, dear Sister Valerie. All right. Next.
Hello, everybody. I am Cassie, author of A Mother's Love. I have a foundation called Ram in the Bush, and you guys know what we do. We help everybody trying to find, well, our babies, trying to fix them up and help them to get employment with certifications to get their own businesses. So we just fit in where we see the need, and the next need we see is our own birthing centers.
Hmm.
And I rest my mic.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Brother Isaiah. All right. We don't. Isaiah, you there? All right. Maybe he has stepped away for a minute.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I had it on mute. I'm sorry.
okay.
What's up, everybody?
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Isaiah Israel, the author of the book, one of the best-selling ebook series on Amazon called The White Man's Burden of Lies and Deceit. And I am a father, a proud husband, and a Dominican citizen, as well as an American citizen living here in the Dominican Republic.
All right, excellent. Now we have a big panel tonight, and everybody's opinions probably will differ here or there. But we want to have a serious conversation about this conflict or this war, and where and how should Black people see it. I want to start off with one general question to the panel, which is, do you believe that Hamas was able to attack Israel, and as Israel claimed, they didn't know anything about it? That this was a surprise thing, it caught them off guard, quote unquote, this is their 9/11. Do you really believe that this thing happened and they had no knowledge of it? And Doc, we'll start with you.
Before I go there, I just found for the fiscal year of 2023, the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, the request or operating cost is $65,231,000, which is an increase of, I guess, a little over 2.6 million from last year. Okay.
Wow.
So you're looking at north of 65 million, and that's just what the U.S. government has given. Now, in regards to the question of do I believe that they had no idea? I don't know, but there's a part of me that finds that incredible. There's really a part of me that finds that incredible when you consider the level of surveillance, not just for phone and telecommunications, but also they have to have the same thing that happened with Nazi Germany. They had satellite photos, and they could tell you that they were laying down a heck of a lot of railroad track that were leading to these large buildings. We now know that these buildings were death camps, but it's hard for me to believe with the amount of surveillance and what happens that no one knew anything. That's very difficult. And I yield.
All right. Thank you, Doc. Sister Valerie?
I believe that there had to be some signs. I don't think that they were just hit and didn't know nothing was going to hit them. I think that at some point, somebody in the top panel, they may not have said much, but there was some signs somewhere.
Definitely. Okay. Sister Cassie?
Now, you know what? Ain't no way in the world you go get to Israel and them not know. Right. Ain't no way in the world. Y'all believe that if you want to. Okay, all that was planned. We don't see the end result. Okay, that's a plan to start a whole lot of mess. They gonna use that to go in Palestine and do some dirt like they always been doing with those people. This ain't the first time. They've been harassing them folk, and then all of a sudden now they gonna strike back, and they don't know anything. Come on, y'all. We not that dumb. We wasn't born yesterday. I'm sorry. No. You know them crackers knew. No, they knew.
Definitely. Brother Isaiah?
Yeah, I'm here. This is just totally crazy, insane, and hard to believe. But let's just go back, all right? Let's just go back to 2001 when 4 planes, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 planes got hijacked by error with a box cutter. Not no AK-47, not no planes, attack planes or nuclear bombs or anything that is detrimental to the American way of life and the way in which they can enter. But if you look at it the plane that crashed into the Pentagon, there ain't nobody found. Ain't nobody found not one body, not one leg, not even the flight box, the black box, right? How in the hell does the wing fall in and go into a damn near perfect circle? The plane that's supposed to have hit the Twin Towers, there was never really any plane. That was like an amateur CGI kind of thing going on. And Building 7 fell in its own footprint. There was no plane found that I seen, not only after the plane hit the Pentagon, but the one that fell in Pennsylvania. Now, let's go to Israel. I mean, seriously. You can't enter Israel without any serious questioning as to why you're there, as to who you're coming with. And when you're in the land, every 15, 20 feet from what I've heard, you will run into an IDF soldier with an AK-47. The people that we call the Palestinians are boxed in, fenced in, traumatized. You would think that, they're in a concentration camp, is what I've been told. And there's absolutely no way that people or and I've seen supposed to have been people paragliding into the area. This is as as it had happened in 2001, was a how do you say that, Brother Muhammad? It was instigated by Mossad. It was instigated by the Israeli government. They knew what's going on. It is stated that Egypt even warned them a week or two before. So anybody that's telling you that they were surprised by it, that the American government was surprised by it, that was a fucking inside job, plain and simple. You cannot get around that. You cannot pussyfoot around that. You cannot joke about it. You cannot. These people, as we call them to be Jews today, are the most disgusting people on the face of this planet. There's just no other way to put it. They are Khazarian mob as they exist in Ukraine. And since the window or the laundromat for Ukraine was so successful, they had to open up another one, open up another laundromat to launder more money, more billions of dollars, and we don't know how much more, with Israel. Israel is the greatest if I'm not mistaken, Brother Muhammad, Israel is the greatest and the biggest welfare state in the fucking world. Every Israeli is getting paid for a Holocaust they did not experience, over and over and over and over. And when would niggas be getting paid? We ain't gonna never get paid. Because white folks run this shit, and this is what we must face, and which is what we must understand. That power consists of three things: politics, economics, and religion are the three most powerful rings of power that you can control. And we must get that. And we're gonna get into it, but I got some other shit I'm gonna come out with that's gonna really, really put this into perspective and really put a nail in the coffin of the Khazarian Jews that are not Jews at all. I'll throw it back at you.
All right. Thank you, dear brother. When we look at Palestine, and you have one section of the Palestinian people are with the PLO, one section is with Hamas, and within that you have even deeper breaks on there. And so the question is, what are the similarities do you see dealing with the Palestinians and Black Americans? Do you see any things that's identical? Do you see anything that lock the two groups that the two groups have in common? Doc?
You know, the thing is that when you really consider it, the the natural leanings of African Americans in dealing with this issue right here is to side with the disenfranchised, with those who have been oppressed and what have you. And that's the lens that we have to look at this thing through. But there's another group that, for me, um, better reflects what has occurred to the Palestinian population, especially when we're talking about the West, and it is the indigenous population here, the quote unquote Native American population, who have had their land basically housed, seized, and what have you, and put on reservations slash concentration camps. African Americans less so, unless you really want to talk about the seizing of black farms and black lands that we're steady losing to this very day. So I see some similarity there, but at the and probably the greatest similarity that one's going to find is quite simply when you're looking at the West is quite simply that so much of what has occurred to us and to other oppressed populations um, under the guise of white world supremacy, and that would be where it would begin and end for me, brother. Are you?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Somebody got background noise. Can you mute your mic when you're not speaking, so that we can hear everybody very clearly? All right, Sister Valerie. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, Sister Valerie.
Okay.
Doc, I just want to go over what you just said to make sure I got you on point. You're saying that the only resemblance is that we have is not with them, but more so with the Native
No,
Americans.
no. What I'm saying is that when you look at the treatment of the native population, the indigenous population here, that it almost fits like a glove in regards to what has occurred to the Palestinian population. You have a group that is largely arriving with the idea that they're going to seize this land. We refer to it as manifest destiny, James Monroe, that God has ordained us to control the North American continent. And so people began to behave in ways that were far from civilized to get rid of the quote unquote uncivilized indigenous population. But if you're going to focus upon black folk and look for similarities there, I mean, you're dealing with the commonalities that we get from oppression. You're dealing with the fact that when black folk did try to do something for themselves or carve out a space for themselves, that was largely shut down. But for my money, if I'm going to talk about what that looks like on this side of the Atlantic, it reminds me of the treatment of our Native American brethren.
All right. Thanks, Doc. Sister Valerie?
So the way I see it is that there is some similarity there, as far as the fighting is concerned, but at the same time, the Palestinians, they are so much different than we are, because it seems like a lot of them, they just have the followers that they follow, and they'll do anything for their people, for their leaders, whereas we're not going to just do anything on this side. So we're not going to just go kill ourselves because somebody say, let's go kill ourselves. And Americans definitely not going to do that. But the Palestinians, they will do that. So the only thing I see that's similar is that we'll fight.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you, Sister Valerie.
Mhm.
Sister Cassie?
From what I see, everything that we've gone through, the Palestinians have gone through. They've gone through police brutality. They've gone through the same way Israel has treated them over the years, since forever. The same thing America has done to us. No difference. Everything they've gone through. Look at the system. They have the same system. You know, the abuse across the board, the police brutality, them going into their homes, killing them, murdering them the same way they do us here. There's no different. And everybody seems to want to turn their head and ignore that and want to call Israel the victim when you've been victimizing another culture since forever. Then when that culture decides to rise up, now you mad. No, you didn't say anything when they were getting their tails and heads and children killed and heads beat in. But then now they want to fight back. So everybody's up in arms. You know, everybody's turning their head when black folk get killed and murdered by the police, right? Same thing. So when black folk do rise up, then who's going to be the victim? The white folk are. They're going to always have something to say. They're going to always, you know, look to us like we the thugs. But nobody said anything when they was killing our children in the street. Nobody said anything when you looking at the young man who just died in his front yard when they was trying to tow his truck or car when it wasn't even behind. But they get off of that. Nobody said anything when Elijah, the little boy who just got killed, or this was like what, 2019? He died. They gave him a tranquilizer and he died. Nobody's talking about that. But then when black folk get enough, which we are, it's coming. Because I'm tired. I wish I had an army. I'm just saying, I'm tired. So when black folk rise up, then we're gonna be the culprits. Okay, well, why don't you do something about it? Fix the system. We know the police has been infiltrated. Same with them. Okay, our police went over there and got trained, right? Then they come back here acting the fool. Okay, well, bullies need to be dealt with. So there's no different. The whole system. I rest.
Thank you, Sister Cassie. Brother Isaiah?
Yeah, I had to take a breather in order to get my thought together, because this is deeper than color or race. It's all about economics, all about political dynamics, and it's also a spiritual angle that is satanic in nature. White folks are not human. Now, I'm just going to put it on the table. Y'all can just take it as it is, because you know me by now, Brother Muhammad. I don't like holding back on anything that is not true. I would speak truth to power, and that is what I do. I love our people, but we have got to stop protesting. We have got to stop praying and start putting our feet to the fire of those who are speaking on our behalf, who's supposed to be our leaders. In regard to the sister who just talked about this brother who was killed in a jar, right? Is that right? Yeah, I read about that. Listen. There's a website that's called Bonds, BONDS, for the win, FOR, the THEWIN. You can sue the police department, and you can sue each and every motherfucking policeman that is doing wrong, has killed some motherfucking body. Each police department must have a bond to fucking operate. Each policeman must have a bond to carry a gun. If they're killing people, that is not their fucking job to kill. Hold on for a second. And it is not their way to do business as a police officer. You can sue the bond. These people will help you fight and win against this bond that they have. And I'm hoping and I'm wishing and I'm praying that we wake the fuck up as to who we are. We are the Native American fucking Indians. We ain't go nowhere. The majority of folks, black in America, got old blood. You don't see old blood in Africa. That is native to the Americas, that includes the Caribbean island where I'm at. That includes Canada, that includes North America, that includes Central America, that includes South America, God damn it. Wake the fuck up. Know your history, know who you are, know where you come from, because Africa begins and ends as the fucking four corners of the goddamn world. Period. And when you look at these Palestinians, they ain't white. They know they're not white. I'm here to tell you right now, they're about as black as me and you. They tired of these motherfuckers. And excuse my French, but I'm hot right now. And you ain't seen hot just yet. Cause I'm about to get real hot up in this motherfucker. I'm here to tell you that the Palestinians are not just Arabs. They are Kohanim. I am a Jew, born and raised. I know what the fuck I am. I know where my people come from Spain, then North Africa, then the Dominican Republic and America. I can trace my shit. I'm proud to be black, because there ain't nothing better than being black. First, second, third, and motherfucking last, and every other goddamn place on the planet and in the universe. Know who you are, know where you are, know what you can do, and do it. And when I tell you that the Palestinians are sick and tired of this shit, I'm telling you, they tired. And there will be an end to this so-called nation that's not even a true nation, not even a true country, that was founded by and helped by Britons for the Balfour Declaration. If you don't know what that is, I would highly recommend that you go to YouTube and look up Benjamin Friedman. He got a 2-hour video on YouTube and a 30-minute one that is condensed and another 7-minute one that talked about it and almost in depth, but it gives you the clue as to what all of what happened. These people, black folk, black Jews, and I don't want to say black Jews because when you talk about Jews, you're talking about black folk. All right? We converted these people, better known as the Khazars. They had a choice between Christianity and had a choice between Islam. If they chose Islam, the Christians were going to attack them. If they chose Christianity, the Muslims were going to attack them. So they took the middle road. They took Judaism. You know what I mean? But if you look at it, Judaism is not a religion, it's a way of life to help you find the way of life for you. This is why I love it so much, because it goes deep. You know what I mean? And when you look at the science of our ancestors and how they brought all of this to the fore, even Judaism goes back to Egypt. It is reported and stated that the first Hebrews were renegade Egyptians. So all of this goes back to Egypt, goes back to Ma'at, goes back way, way back. Before even white folks got here, because they come from, where did they come from? They come from Dravidian albinos of India. They come from the black woman. The black woman is God. The black woman is the mother of all humanity. And I'll throw it back to you.
Thank you, Brother Isaiah.
I ain't done yet, though. But
all right, just hold on. We're going to have to keep our comments within 2 minutes, or we won't be able to get everybody's input.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay. But I want to go to Sister Valerie's point, where she made about the ability to follow, or the Palestinians follow their leader's word, even up to if they tell you to strap a bomb on yourself and go blow the place up. But black folks over here in America, we don't follow leadership like that. So I want to get the panel's opinion on that. Do you think that type of adherence is what's actually needed in order to win? Or do we need some type of mixture in that? Doc, what say you?
You know, what I'll say to that is, even before we need that adherence, we need to have appropriate analysis and leadership. We need to have a concrete understanding of, number one, what is the outcome we're looking for? What is the ultimate goal? And I would venture to guess that if you were to take a poll, an open-ended poll of Black America right now about what is the ultimate goal, more than likely you come up with 50 different ultimate goals. So I think that you need leadership. You need a grounded leadership that is enlightened, informed, and possessing the ability to not only guide the people, but also to direct them towards freedom, towards liberation, whatever that means for us. Now, in regards to our people following, of course, you're going to need those who follow directly, those who follow orders. It's just what it is. And one of the problems, and once again, when you look at the issue impacting Black America, we're not like-minded. We're not one-minded. We're not on the same accord. And so much of that is best manifested or most noticeable in the fact that we we have such disdain and anger for one another that we're not going to follow another Black person. We're not going to do that. And until we get to a point where we've kind of scrubbed our brains of the self-hate that we have and get on one accord, where did we come from? What should we be thinking about? What should we be doing? We need to be in unison in regards to that. And that's not something that's going to be achieved amongst the masses. That would be a leadership thing. So we, in every way, need to go ahead and have appropriate, responsible leadership. And everybody else has to be kind of ready and willing and, to lay their pride by the side and go ahead and follow whatever those dictates are, whatever those steps are. But knowing the history of Black folk, we've never done that. And we've had prophet after prophet appear before us to tell us and point us towards a direction. And in mass, we've not done that. We've not followed. And I yield.
Doc, let me ask you this question real quick. Mm-hmm. Have we ever had that appropriate, responsible leadership?
I would say, yeah. I would actually say, yeah. When you're talking about the idea of us moving towards a greater sense of freedom and autonomy, I believe that we've had a host of them. We can go all the way back to David Walker. We can go to Mariah Stewart. We can go to Douglass. We can go to Booker T. Washington. We can go to Du Bois and all of his different manifestations. We can deal with Garvey. We can deal with the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali. The list goes on and on and on and on. But the people have not been willing to really adhere to a program. Our people have allowed a foreign entity to come in and set even their values and what they will respect and that they won't respect. And unfortunately for us, Black leadership is going to conflict with that, because the very things that the masses of Black folk are often adoring are coming from white society. And you're never going to get free by, Alice Walker said it this way: you can't tear down the master's house using the master's tools. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about the concept of liberation and what have you, it's got to begin with the mind. It's got to begin with a willing heart, and realize that everyone is not meant to lead. Everyone is not a leader. Everyone's not going to have that as their charge. But whatever your charge is, you need to be the best at that you can possibly be. But it all begins with responsible, focused leadership. And
Excellent. Thank you, Doc. Sister Valerie.
So I agree with Doc on what he was saying, and I feel that Black folks, we will never be on one accord because we try to hinder people from getting it. We already got it. We already at the top. We're not going to try to help the next man up. And then we have leaders such as Trump that's leading people down, got people going to jail for his nonsense. So it's not, to me, I just believe that we are different, and we will only be in a position for someone to follow us if we are doing the right thing. But if we're doing the negative stuff, then we need to sit down.
And so let me ask you, do you believe, I'll ask you the same question I asked Doc, do you believe that we've had responsible leadership that should require, or, well, not even require, but should get reasonable following from the people? You know, if they say go do A, B, C, or D, then the people should go do A, B, C, or D. Do you believe that we've had that kind of leadership yet?
No, not here on earth. No. Everybody has their flaws, and it's like, is a lot of people are just out to see what they can get. And so they're not going to try to help you. So why would you follow somebody that's using you? You know, they're not trying to help you in any way. So why would you, follow them? No.
In your mind, what would a responsible, appropriate leader, what do you have any idea of what that looks like? You know, what type of person that would be, that could earn that type of, followers that listen and do what they tell them to do?
A person that has a relationship with God, put God first, someone that is knowledgeable of doing right and not necessarily doing the wrong things, but a person that is up and wanting to help others and not just leaving us down here while they're moving on up and leaving us down behind trying to climb the ladder to get where they are.
Excellent. Thank you, Sister Valerie. Sister Cassie?
Oh boy, this is a funny one. You know what? We have not had qualified leaders that love Black folk since Malcolm. You know, we can name a few more. Harriet, Malcolm, Medgar Evers. We've not had qualified Black folk leaders that have a heart for Black folk. The ones we have now is working for white folk, white supremacy. They paying them good, okay? And they don't care about Black folk. They care about money. You've heard a few of them. The young guy in Alabama, he was on mic telling me, well, I don't have to do nothing for Black folk. Young guy. But then you got a Democratic Party who Black folk felt they love the Democratic Party, who was what? The Dixie Party, who was over slavery. This is the same party that Black folk have killed themselves over. Love. Today, you have the worst one in office, Biden, who did the most harm to Black folk. And what we do, we gave him the highest seat. Make it make sense. We've not had any qualified leaders. What we need to do right now is separate first, then learn a code of behavior. Then we got to teach our own babies, because what you see now is a product of us not teaching our own. Malcolm said only a fool would allow their enemies to educate their children. That's a fool right there. Make it make sense, family. And we know what they're doing to our children, and we still allow them. So what we see is what we've done. We dropped the ball. Our ancestors, they separated us from them for a reason, because they knew it was going to take for an eternity for these crackers to get their heads on, to get it right with us. They knew they will never get there. But what did we do? We thought we knew better, more than our ancestors. We slapped them in the face because we had our own land, with our own homes, our own everything, right? What did we do? We gave all that away to go and taste their ice, and found out it's the same ice. So now we're at the bottom, and we're going to stay our asses at the bottom because we were disobedient. We weren't supposed to be mixing and mingling with them. That's why we were separated. We were told not to mix and mingle, not to marry them. And what we do, and we encourage our kids to marry them. Those are Satan's seeds. And God called them Satan's seeds. He called them serpent people. We don't understand that. We think we know more than him. We have to learn how to love ourselves. We have to build our own, we have to learn how to build and love our own. We have to start building stuff that we need in our communities. We have to start separating. It's time now. This is why God has allowed us to get our heads busted open by them. Because maybe now, at one point, we'll get it. We'll get it at one point. I'm hoping and praying. Because right now, we're at a 911. If what you see now does not make you want to separate, it's something wrong with you. Because every day I'm done. I'm so tired of what I'm seeing. I'm so frustrated all the time because of what I'm seeing. I'm not liking it. I'm ready to do some stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I need to go. I need to be in my corner by myself because I'm tired of hearing it. And I don't understand why Black folk just sitting down taking it. And I was reading what the brother was talking about the bond. What did he say? The bonds for the win. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, we need to do something with that, Brother Maurice. We need to do something with that. If that's something we can do, we need to do something. Because I'm reading that thing. I'm ready. This is ridiculous. And for us to be bullied like this and us not do anything about it, do you think they're going to stop out of the goodness and kindness of their hearts? They're not. So we need to start building our own. Mm-hmm. So when are we going to get tired and when are we going to want to separate and start buying up land? Because they ain't going to never get it. And I'm tired of bullies. I'm tired of being bullied. I remember when I was young, big fat girl was bullying me. I was scared. That girl was big. And I'm a little bitty old thing. I was like, God. But you know what? I got tired of her ass. I told my mom, she was picking me up. I said, okay, Mom, today is the day. I said, don't pick me up today. I was tired. I had already planned. I'm going to beat this. We're going to fight today. Okay? I'm going to hit and move because I'm she's too big to catch me. I'm going to hit and move. And that's what I did. Hit and beat. I'm just saying. Sometimes I can get tired. I got tired. Mom don't pick me up today. I got on that bus. And everybody, I was quiet. I was quiet. Because I was playing it in my head. I said, okay. Either I'm going to get off in front of her when she get down, I'm going to grab her. We're going to just get to going. I was playing. They was quiet. They was talking. I ain't got time to talk. I was done talking. I was done being scared and I was done running. Because at some point you get to a wall and you be like, I got to fight my way out of this. That's dangerous when you want to. And I tried to kill that girl. I tried. Lord, I'm telling you, my uncle came fast. And he didn't came. My uncle came in. He seen the crowd, and he saw me. He come, let me get this girl. But because I was tired. When we gonna get tired? Mm-hmm. I know my attitude. I know me. I have to go away. I have to get away. I have to go in my corner because I been slapped you and don't even mean to. Just walk past you and because you just fly. Oh, you're tired. When you're tired, you're tired. Mm-hmm. So when are we gonna start doing for what we need to do? Because ain't none of our leaders right now, for what I'm seeing, is worth a damn. Ain't none of them gonna do nothing for you. They too busy working for white folk. They too busy keeping you voting Democrat for people that ain't gonna do nothing for you. Ain't never done nothing for you. Then you talk about Trump. He racist as hell. All of them are racist. Not just no Trump. You think that started with him? They didn't start with him. They all been racist since the beginning of time. And we're looking at one party because they want you to believe Trump was the worst. Look at Biden. What did he do to black folk? He did the most harm, then told you if you ain't black, you don't vote for me, you ain't black. What the hell you talking about? I have to prove myself to you. And niggas got up and start proving themselves to him and put his ass in office. What a damn fool. That's crazy. That's ludicrous. That makes no sense to me. Mm-hmm. I rest my mic.
All right. Thank you, Sister Cassie. Brother Isaiah.
Now, look, I got to keep my faith up on it. As ugly as it might be, I'm here. But my sister, look. It's bonds for the win. BONDS for the win. They'll walk it through with you hand by hand and showing you what to do. So when you get used to it, you can teach other people. This is what we must. We must be active. We must proactive and active. I guess that's right? But whatever the case, look, fuck white folk. Fuck them. Excuse my language, but fuck them. They ain't never been no obstacle to us. If you look at it, white folk with Trump dumbass, they're dying. Do you know what their birth rate is? To maintain your population, you need a 2.1. You know what niggas' birth rate is? 10. Mexicans 1 million, white folk less than 1, 5.09. But hold on, keep that thought. Keep that thought. Keep that thought. White folks are the worst fucking drug addicts, crackheads, whores, bastards. White men are the worst fathers. This is not what I'm saying. This is what has been statistically proven. With the advent of the most recent mind sweeping, I guess if you want to call it a mind sweep, psychological warfare over the last fucking 2 years, the vaccine has killed 150 million people worldwide. White folks are the ones that's taking it. Do you understand? It not only kills you. Hold on, let's put things in order because I don't want to say things that are out of pocket that might be misconstrued or not put in place. But please bear with me, Brother Muhammad. The vaccine, Johnson and Johnson, whatever, right? They had different potentialities.
Hold on, brother Isaiah.
Okay.
Don't get into that because that's not really what we're talking about.
It all ties into it.
Answer the question that I asked first.
That's what I'm trying to do. But I want you guys to see the whole story. You know what I mean? Because I don't care if we spend another 5 hours here, ain't gonna be enough to cover what needs to be covered. You know what I'm saying? But the idea is that when you take that vaccine, some people die on the same day. Some people die a week later. Some people are going to be dying 2 or 3 years fucking later. Do you understand? It not only kills you in that way, but it stunts your ability to have a baby. White women are not having babies. White folks are not having babies. But to get back to the question, Brother Muhammad, black folks, if you go to YouTube and you look up the Big Six with Malcolm X, and you mentioned that, sister, you mentioned that, he'll tell you that there are black leaders that are gatekeepers that keeping the masses down and dumbed down and not active. And that's the reason why and Brother Muhammad trying to make it more active, make it more proactive, because the only thing that's going to help us is us. We don't need white folks. Not at all. We don't fucking need them. They need us. Spiritually, economically, politically. And the 1800s during the Reconstruction, do you know that the black president, Abraham Lincoln, and his vice president, a black man? Not only free, not only black folk, because we were enslaved, we were never slaves in America. Hold on for a second. We're never slaves in America. We were enslaved, right? But if you really, really, really take a look at the ancient picture, you will see white folk picking cotton. King James, King Charles, and King George were black men who established, motherfucker, who established America. White folk couldn't make a goddamn shoe, let alone a fucking window. We civilized them motherfuckers 3 times. Once in Egypt, once in Greece, and once during our reign of 800 years in Spain until we got kicked out. White folk didn't take over Africa until the 1800s. Do you understand what I'm telling you? It is so vitally important to understand and to know where these people come from. That they ain't shit. They talk shit because they know they ain't shit. They know they ain't shit because they talk shit. And the only game they got going is the Wizard of Oz game where they blowing smoke up our ass. Trying to make them look like bigger than what they are. But if you just pull back the curtain, you'll see a bitch-ass motherfucking man and a bitch-ass motherfucking woman with a little-ass boy and a little-ass girl in their body. They scared. Gaddafi said, if you kill me, you'll be opening the door to all of hell for all of eternity. And I look at them. Muslims all up in England and Europe, kicking their ass, raping them. I'm not raping nobody. I love white folks. Do you understand what I'm telling you? But the idea is that in America, In America, we got to be held accountable. I was blessed when I was just about to come out of high school. I ran into a brother by the name of oh shit, by the name of John. Oh shit. He started the mutual fund, REL Capital Management. John, I can't think of his last name, but anyway, he taught me how to the stock market, and I've been fine every motherfucking since. The power of America and the world is in the stock market. Do you know that the people who created the .com?
Brother Isaiah,
No, yeah, I understand what you. Let me get this last point in.
come on
Black
now.
folks are the most creative people. Black folks created the .com. Do you know what the U.S. government did? They stopped them from going public. They were unable to sell the company on the stock market where they could have made billions. They had to sell their company for about $5 or $6 million fucking dollars, and the white folk who bought it went back to the U.S. government, and the U.S. government said, "Okay, you can go public now." Do you know how much money they made? $20 billion. So anybody that's telling you that black folk are not experiencing systemic racism, tell them to kiss your ass. Take a motherfucking straw, stick it in their ass, and drink the creamy brown shit out that motherfucker. I'm just being on the real. You know me, Brother Muhammad. I'm not here to play. I don't give a fuck about white folk bullshit, crying, carrying, and bitch ass motherfucking Bob. I don't give no fuck. I give a fuck about black first, second, third, fourth, and fourth in motherfucking eternity. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I'm not here to play. We must be about that money. The stock market is where it's at. And if you go to my page, my Facebook page, Wall Street News and World Report, you will see it. And please add me, sister. I have created over 5,000% return on the stock that I recommended. The most current one, LVGI, is gonna be a motherfucker. It's gonna do better. It's gonna be at least 100 times better. A 5,000% return is 50 times your money. If you put in $1, you got $50 back.
Well, how we play that?
You know what I mean? So I throw it back to you. I ain't done yet.
Can you play for me? Can you do the stock for me? I give you some money to help me out. Oh Lordy. You're on mute, bro. You're on the mute. Hey, get down.
Brother Isaiah, you're gonna have to learn to at least answer the question that's asked before you go into all these
I did, bro. I did. We're not accountable. The leadership in America for black folk is not accountable. You know, we just not. We got gatekeepers. Bro. And Malcolm X told you in that video, the Big Six. It wasn't necessary to have a civil rights movement in the 60s. We got it in the 1860s. People died for nothing. Martin Luther King died for nothing. Malcolm Medgar Evers died for nothing. We've always had our rights to vote, right to citizenship since the 1860s when Abraham Lincoln did it. When the black vice president, his homeboy, did it. Hannibal Hamlin stood in Congress and talked about white folk like a dog. He was talking about, everybody was commenting on his brown skin. He said, well, at least I get mine from nature, motherfucker. He didn't say that motherfucker. But you get yours from the wine bottle. Now, how you sit your ass down somewhere? White folks always try to hold on for a second. Because you got to see my face. They always trying to do some bullshit, always trying to run game, but they're the weakest motherfucker going. I remember when I was I think I was in the 5th grade. Just to give you a story. I was the top runner, and what do you call them people that run the track? The track, you know what I'm talking about. Look, no joke. I was running against the top white boy. I was dogging it. I wasn't even trying to run fast. But I was like 4 or 5 people ahead, 4 or 5 bodies ahead of him. You know what the white coach did? He told that white boy to run across the field and toward him, and he won. I was mad than a motherfucker. So you know goddamn well white folk cheat and lie. White folks, fuck them.
All the time. They ain't changed. You think
We
they
don't
changed?
we don't need white folks at
They've been
all.
doing this a long time.
Listen, sister. There's a sister on YouTube that come from, I think, from Ghana, some kind of where they got diamonds and shit. She was saying we the richest motherfuckers in the planet. How the fuck do we have to beg, bow, and steal for what? Ghana just discovered $12 trillion of gold. Are you feeling me? Don't hear me. I want you to feel it. Are you feeling me? That's what the fuck I'm talking
But they gave it to
about. We the
France.
richest, most powerful, most smartest motherfuckers. And they still trying to figure out how we built the pyramids. White folks, they ain't got it. You know what they ain't got? They ain't got melanin. That's what the fuck they ain't got. And they ain't gonna never have it, cause they ain't gonna never be it, cause they wanna be black like a motherfucker. I'm out. And I'm putting my head like, nigga, will you come on, man? Come on.
Thank you, dear brother Isaiah. And I also want to welcome Deacons of Reality to the program. Peace and blessings, big bro. Glad you're here. My next question to the panel: Is it appropriate to tell our people to go out and kill our enemies? Is that appropriate? And I ask because that's something that's going to have to be done at some point. And so, is it appropriate? Do you feel as though that's something that should not be done? And I think we lost Doc, so we're waiting for him to come back. So Sister Valerie is on you. Do you think that's something appropriate?
I don't think so. I mean, why are you going to tell somebody to go kill somebody before they can go sit up in jail the rest of their life? I mean, it's not morally. I mean, if you read the Bible, let God take care of your battles. So I'm not going to go out and kill nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, do you see where it's a war, it's a fight between Black people and white people, the government, the system? Do you see that there's a battle going on for Black people's basic freedoms?
Yes, I do see. It's always been a Black thing or a white thing. It's always been that way for as long as I can remember. I don't necessarily agree with it, but there's nothing I can do about it. But it's always typically been white against Blacks. Whites always superior to us for whatever reason. They think they better than us. They've been taught that. And so it just carries down through the line, through the years, through the generations.
Mm-hmm. And to be able, how do you see it that will defeat that mindset that's carried, that's lived in white people? How do you think that we will defeat that and don't have to be a oppressed people? How do you think we'll get to the victory?
I don't think it's going to ever change. I think it's going to always be that. Only God can make that change. And if God don't do it, it's not going to be done. And I just don't see it changing. Okay. I think it's going to always be that way.
Okay. Excellent. We're glad you're back with us, Doc. The question that we're asking now is it appropriate? Do you think that they're as we're dealing with, if we have the responsible leadership, is it appropriate for leadership to have its followers to go out and kill the enemy?
Wow, that's a big question. I don't think that anything is off the table when you're talking about freedom and liberation. So I would certainly not seek to handcuff Black leadership if, after their analysis and study, if that was the appropriate step forward. I would argue that such a situation is ironically the very thing that led to the founding of this nation. These farmers, these colonists, there was no way that they should have been able to stand up to what amounts to as modern day Rome when they bucked the leadership and the tyrannical rule of the British. That was not supposed to happen, but it did happen. So I don't think that I think that if you trust your leadership and it's a responsible leadership, their directives should be followed. It's kind of like getting a directive from the Most High. Your thoughts are not like His. You can't see what He sees, and so if you're going to be a part of the collective and a part of the group, then you need to to follow what your leadership tells you to do, even if it is disturbing to your soul. We've talked about this in a different context about Black soldiers and Black servicemen and servicewomen. Don't want to leave out the Black women, but receiving immoral directives that they're not going to follow. So I think that there's some room there, but I don't think that that's what we see with Black folk. I think that what we see with Black folk is some level of cowardice, some level of capitulation, almost being comfortable, or at least situated and accommodated in their oppression. So I wouldn't pull that off the table, to put it simply. If the leadership feels that's the directive to go, and it's a righteous leadership, I believe that that's the way that you should go. It reminds me, and I'll stop with this, with how Brother Malcolm wanted the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad to send his followers out in the streets to battle white folk after the brothers out in L.A. had been shot and what have you, and he refused to do so because he said that they would be slaughtered. And it's not that that move would not be warranted, but a wise, sober leadership is not going to send their people out there to just be wholesale killed against an enemy that is more advanced, more, full of more technology. And let's be very clear about this, has a bloodthirst and a will to win by any means necessary. And that last part is what we continually see when we're dealing with them. And I yield, brother.
Hold on, Doc. Let me ask you, because different organizations got to a point where they had to embrace armed struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Could you give us an understanding of what that really means and why did they get to that point?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of reasons why people get to a position of armed struggle, wanting to pick up guns. One of them being, as Sister Cassie has said, that they've grown tired. Sort of the Fannie Lou Hamer thing of I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. But then you have these other things that factor in. It's sort of the reason why, and it's one of my pet peeves for people to talk about Mahatma Gandhi being some type of mentor to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Nothing could be further from the truth. But when you look at what the Indians had done, and not necessarily that they picked up armaments and fought the British, but they were so numerically superior. So I think that all of those things go into the decision to pick up guns. As a person who has studied U.S. history, wherever, I can tell you that white folk are not afraid to pick up the gun. They've done it repeatedly, and I would argue that they're eager to pick up the gun, to just be done away with whatever force, whatever they deem to be a enemy force against them. So, our people have had our rebellions. You got Nat, you got Gabriel, you got Denmark, you got the Stonewall Rebellion. You have all of these different, almost episodic moments of picking up the gun. You have Rosewood, you have Greenwood, you have a whole host of them. There's a whole tradition of Black folk picking up the gun. This past weekend, I was at the East Texas Historical Association, and I did research and a presentation on Longview the Longview race riot. And that's yet another moment where Black folk picked up guns to defend themselves that history has largely glossed over or forgot or did not cover. So we have a long tradition of that. We've been far from willing victims and sitting ducks for anybody who came for us.
Is there a history, Doc, that you know of people that you know of that got free by any means other than the gun, without fighting?
Without fighting, I mean, you don't get free without fighting. Now, if you're asking without the implementation of the gun and munitions and armaments, you could talk about a place like Ghana where they're so numerically superior that they were able to hold what they would term elections, and they voted in Kwame Nkrumah to be their first president. You could talk about something like that, but there's definitely going to be violence and armed struggle, even when you're talking about situations like that where Black folk are numerically superior, because white folk have a tendency that one of the primary fundamental differences between Black folk and white folk is that white folk do not just complain about their problems. They pick up guns and armaments and they address their problems. And they not only address it through guns and armaments, they address it through dollars. There's more than a few Black worthy nonprofits who've gone out of business solely because they stepped on some white individual or corporation's toes. You will no longer be funded. That's a form of violence. But when you're talking about liberation, you're talking about revolution, especially if you're talking about revolution. As Malcolm put it, a revolution is bloody. And there's no getting around that. If you want to be free, you know, Khalid Muhammad would say this, that the way to peace is you know, the peacemaker might be the peacebreaker. You know, you're going to have to fight if you want liberation and if you want autonomy. And here in America, if you're talking about fighting, you're talking about revolution, you're talking about fighting not only physically, economically, in the educational system, but the problem is that you're expecting Black folk who are not revolutionary minded or visionaries to join in that fight, and often they refuse to. And I yield, brother.
Thanks, Doc. Sis Cassie?
We got to look at this thing different. I know we got some Bible folk on here. Let me just mention something. He said, "Do unto others," right? We owe it to our children to teach them how to defend themselves, right? Mm-hmm. When David in the Bible, when that army came and stole the women and children, David was getting ready to be dead because those men was looking at him like, "You mean to tell me we went out there and we left our women unprepared, no protection, and now they gone?" David said, "God, you got to help me here." What did he tell him? He said, "Shall I pursue?" And God said, "Yes, and you shall recover all." He's waiting on you. We scared as hell to move. That's why you're getting your asses beat down right now, dead. Your children dying in the streets, and you got the nerve to tell me I forgive? I don't forgive nothing. When you dead and get the same treatment that you just gave my son, I'm good. Period. He didn't never tell us. God ain't got no punks. Y'all Christians, I swear, y'all punks now. He didn't tell you to be punks. He told you to fight. He said you will win. He's waiting on us to rise up. And as soon as we do, we got our backs. Y'all got to look at this thing. I don't know what eyes y'all see. You're looking at it out of what? We're not looking at who we are. We are the chosen. Whether y'all believe it or not, we are the chosen. You think he don't have our backs? You think he gonna let us slaughter his children? Else he would allow that year from the beginning. They can't touch us like this. And the ones that die need to die. Because he said 2/3 of the ones that won't arm themselves right now, who see what's happening, and you'll sit up there and still don't have a weapon. You're gonna die. You're going to die. Now you sit there, you see what's going on out in the street, and you'll sit up there and walk by yourself at night. What the hell people got to tell you? You can't keep doing that. You got to know what you're supposed to be doing. You have to understand who you are and when it's time to rise. And now it's time to rise. Ain't nothing gonna change for Black folk unless you move, get up and move. He didn't tell you to sit up here and take no butt whooping like we doing. He didn't tell you that. Every time in the Bible, he told them to do what? March around Jericho 7 times? And what happened? Y'all sit up there and act like y'all all this Christian stuff, reading the Bible and scared as hell. What are you doing? What's going on here? Black folk, what are we doing? Civil rights bill. Before that bill was passed, Black folk was burning down America. That's why they passed that bill. They won't use it for you, but that's why they passed the bill. You sit there if you want to and not have your candy bar with you, and you leaving this house, knowing that any moment, Black girl went to a bar. She got into it with 2 white girls, right? This is recent. Two white men jumped her and beat the hell out of her. If she had had her candy bar, it wouldn't happen. What you bet? Because I'm going to tell you what. For one, I wouldn't have been in the white bar anyway. I'm just saying. I don't go no places where it's all just them. Because I don't want to have to go to jail. Because I'm going to fight to the death. I guarantee you that. You're not going to sit up there and hurt me or mine for free. Because I'm coming. I ain't forgiving nothing. After I get done doing what God told me to do, he said, you shall pursue Cassie, and I'm going to pursue and I'm going to win. Because he said we win in the end. If you read your word, like we say we read, he said you win. So I don't know what eyes y'all looking at this thing through, but I believe that we shouldn't even have to tell you to fight. You see the dangers. You see you at war. I ain't never seen nobody see they at war and don't fight back. I ain't never seen no war like that. Change will never happen unless bloodshed happens. That's when you're going to get change. That's when you're going to get the revolution. But if you sitting up there talking about, I'm scared, we Black folk ain't ready. Well, you know what? That's not your problem. They should have been ready. Because you see they kicking your butts. You see what they doing to you in the street. You ain't got sense enough to get you a candy bar. What you waiting on? That's your stupidity. That's your stupidity. If you sitting up here now and you ain't got nothing in your house to protect you and your children, you're the damn fool. I'm sorry. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy as hell. You walking out here every day. And you'll see what they doing to you, and you'll still not have nothing. You are out of your damn minds. If you sitting up there thinking I'm gonna sit up there and let them hurt mine. Oh, I'm coming. I guarantee you. I guarantee you it. I'm gonna fight to the end. Do you hear me? I swear I'm gonna fight to the end. Them white boys jacked that sister up. 2 white boys. What do you mean? And you didn't have no candy bar? You didn't cripple nothing? Shh. Wouldn't have been me. It wouldn't have been me. He told us. He gave us permission. He said, do unto others. Now, what Bible y'all read? What Bible you read? Y'all dying because you want to. Because he said, I'm waiting on y'all. We waiting on him. He said, I'm waiting on y'all. Let me see what y'all gonna do. He letting them get it. He letting them beat your asses. They tearing your head up. And you still sitting there. He like, what in the world I got to do for them to move? What I got to do for them to move, to do something? Hit back, scratch, spit, something, pick up something. You'll sit there. When these thugs in blue act like damn terrorists, they beating the hell out you. And you sitting up there letting them. When they act like thugs, you handle your business. Because they ain't supposed to act like that. Every time they come in your neighborhood, you got to die. The devil is a whole lie. No, you don't come up in here. It used to be a time when they had to get permission to come in our Black neighborhoods. What happened to that? They had to get permission from our Black leaders to come into our neighborhoods. Now what you doing? You sit up there and look at them beat one down, and then your Black behind are jumping in and help them beat your brother up. Oh, really? What we do that at? What we do that at? Better not let me see you beating up your own brother, because you need to be shot then. That's your brother. And you going to help a cracker hurt your brother? I seen it on the video. Him and his whole family should have been taken out. Just like them couples in Africa. You rise up, your whole family going to get taken out. We're going to find out who did it and your whole lineage, because you're cowards. You're chumps. Nothing's going to change without bloodshed. Trust that. All that marching, what happened? Martin Luther King march, he dead. He marched, they spitting. He marched, they fighting. He marched, they throwing stones. You done lost your damn mind. The riots of 1920, what happened? People was fighting back. You sitting up there and looking crazy. Well, God, yeah, he told you to fight. He didn't tell you to sit up there like no chumps. Like, we no chumps. He ain't got no chumps. He ashamed of y'all. Sitting up there, God told me to, I forgive. You don't forgive nothing. It's ridiculous. I rest my mic. Y'all done made me mad up in there.
Sister Cassie, let me ask you. On that same tip, because the Israelis, they don't forgive nothing that is done against them.
So what we forgiving for?
And do you think that it's a sin that, like we use the example of little cracker going to the church and kill up our people, and then
nobody moved? That's a sin for you to let him come up in your church and kill you. He shouldn't have ever walked out of that church. If that Peyton in the store, he shouldn't have never walked out. You have every right to defend yourself. They come after you, you better take your candy bar out, and you better be a battle up in here. Because when I'm in Walmart, I'm looking. You got a crazy coat on, a long coat. Either I'm leaving or I'm going to do what I need to do. You're not going to hurt me for free. That's a sin right there. For you to run cowardly. You in a corner because you ain't got your candy bar. But everywhere they go, they take theirs, don't they? And you sitting up here looking crazy because you scared. Because they didn't train your mindset that you're not supposed to defend yourself. Police come in your neighborhood and kill you. Police come by Lil Peyton, what the boy name? Dylan Roof. He came in the church, killed nine, and lived. But you let a man walk outside who's trying to stop you from taking his truck that's paid up, and you die? Oh, they got you. They got this thing twisted. They making you think that every time they come in your neighborhood, you're supposed to die. No, you're supposed to die. You coming in here for some mess, just like Ozone, our brother Ozone. He handled his business, didn't he? He sure did. He alive today, ain't he? To fight another day. If he get the right attorney, he can come up out of there. He lived another day because that cracker had some dirt up. That's why he dead. And he should have been dead. Good for our brother who fought for his life. He didn't sit up there and let them crackers kill him, did he? He fought for his life. And that cracker dead today because he was up to no good. And because he was up to no good, you got to go. God said, you shall recover all. He living, ain't he? And he gonna come up out of there. Y'all chickens, y'all scared to blink, scared to move. These crackers they ain't about nothing. Because they ain't got no gun, they ain't about nothing. You catch them by themselves, they ain't nothing. They'll cry like babies. Y'all sitting up here talking about you in the world. I ain't never seen no whatever.
So my question, Sister Cassie, is
go ahead. I'm gonna let you get it out.
When the family members was coming before the court and they were looking at Dylan Roof on the screen and they were saying, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. My question is that a sin?
Is what? To forgive him a sin? Him living, for him to live was a sin. For Dylan Roof not to die that same day, and for George Zimmerman to be still alive today, for that girl, the lady, the cop that killed the white boy, and she said, "Oh, it's a taser." For her to go in jail and come out walking, that's a sin. When you don't do what you're supposed to do, that's a sin. So if I don't accept your apology because you just blew my dog's head off, that's a sin. It's a sin that you allowed him to live. It's a sin that he was allowed to kill 9 folks in a church. You didn't invade my privacy. Now I got to go to church and look around. I got to go to church now with my candy bar. I'm just saying I don't go to church, but I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's a sin for you to stand up there and allow. That's the sin of it. He didn't tell you to be cowards. That's what them white folk taught you in them churches. Because who taught them white folk? The theologian schools taught you to teach them. They taught them to tell you, pray, forgive. Do them crackers forgive? I'll never see no crackers tell you they forgive. Do they forgive? But they ain't wrong, are they? KKK say they Christians and kill you and stomp you and hang you and burn you, but they Christians. Do unto others. Because God said, I'm going to win. That's what he said. And I believe that. I believe he's waiting on us to rise up, and he going to have our backs like never before. I don't know what y'all believe. You can believe what you want to, but I guarantee you, they come. I'm going to come too. And 2/3 of Black folk will die because they're not being prepared. If you see what's going on and you see the water rising and you don't go get your boat and you don't go get your stuff that you need, and if you die, that's on you. Because you saw you saw the work. You saw the warning signs. These are warning signs, honey. Because they come and these are warning signs. If you're not prepared, shame on you. That meant you need to die anyway. That's what it meant, because you're coward. You're a coward. We don't need no cowards in this army. God don't have no cowards in the army. All cowards gonna be dealt with. All coons gonna be dealt with. And I'm not mad about it. You're a coward, step aside. Get out the way. And let the real people that's ready to fight do what we need to do, because we're gonna win. We got this. He got it. We got this. You don't sit up here and let them crackers come in and harm your children. Are you crazy? Come in your whole house and harm your children in your house. Botham Jean was in his house, in his drawers, eating a bowl of ice cream. That cracker came in his house. He should have his candy bar. What you coming up in here for? He should have waited till she came through the door and towed her ass up and lit her up, because she's coming into your home unannounced. Then that means you mean me harm. You feel what I'm saying? That means you mean me harm. Come in my house unannounced if you want to. I'll rest my mic. Any more questions?
No, ma'am.
Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Y'all sitting up here with no nothing, just uncovered. It's raining and you ain't got an umbrella. What the hell? What's wrong with you? That don't even make sense to me. I cannot even make sense of that. I just cannot. Stupid stuff be happening to Black folk, and I'm like, no fight back? No nothing? You in a Dollar General and you dead? Getting some pads or whatever. You can't fight back? We're unprepared. Why? You see what's going on, and you won't do nothing to change your situation. You won't even keep you safe. You can't even keep your sister safe. I saw a woman, and I'm a hush, white guy at her door, right? She told him, okay, go. He trying to come in her door, white guy. She was a Black woman, single woman with 2 kids. I don't know if y'all seen this. He coming through. He coming in. She shot him. You had no business coming in here. She had a candy bar. And everybody on here, everybody listening to the sound of my voice, go get your candy bar tonight. I don't care if you got to go to the pawn shop and get one. You should not be walking these dangerous streets in America with nothing. And if you is, then guess what? You get what you get. Even at your church, 9 people, you ain't nobody have a gun up in there. And you know how toxic it is? Come on now. That's the first place they come to is the church, right? What did the man just do? He went to the church first and to the Black schools. And then he was going to tear our babies up. And I guarantee you, not one of our babies had no weapon. I rest my mic.
Thank you, Sister Cassie. Brother Isaiah?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Answer the question, dear brother. The question only. We had time.
Where do you want me to start? Because my sister our sister done set it off. I'm going to set it off a little bit more. We would not be here if it wasn't for our ancestors fighting. For our ancestors to fight, they fought physically, they fought politically, and they fought economically and spiritually. The 3 rings of power are really simple to understand: politics, economics, and religion, or spirituality. Our spirituality go back to Ma'at, long before Judaism and Islam and Christianity came into existence. All of those are rooted within the framework of our ancestors' thoughts and spiritual motivation and soul. That thought and spiritual motivation doesn't go nowhere. It is deeply within our own genome, our own DNA. And all we have to do is just tap in, quiet down our nerve, Man, you know white folks don't fight. Do you know where white folks learn to fight? Militarily? Do you know West Point? Do you know that West Point's ability to teach fighting militarily come from a nigger? Hannibal of Carthage? Hannibal, a nigger. White folks love niggas. They can't love us no more. There was a brother whose son got raped, not killed, but raped on the playground by 3 young white boys. I don't know if you heard the story, but it got here in the Dominican Republic, and I heard about it. Make a long story short, he killed all of them and waited for the police to come. So the idea that black folks don't fight, black folks don't shoot back, there's a great book called We Shoot Back. That's it. We shoot back, we fight. White folks are scared of niggas. They're scared of you politically. They're scared of you economically. They're scared of you spiritually. That's the reason why they try to hide our history, to keep us from knowing who we are, where we've been. And more importantly, when you know the past, you can understand the present and predict the future. It's not hard to figure out where these people are going. They're going to the graveyard faster than I don't know what. White folks ain't gonna be around for very much longer. Even Biden said that. They trying to team up with black folk, white women with black men, and white men with black women, trying to save their seed. But that ain't happening. They ain't supposed to be here. They weren't here past 3,000 fucking years ago. They just got here. They come from the black woman. I don't know how many times if I gotta say it 1,000,000 motherfucking more times, I say it. The black woman is the most beautiful woman in the world because we all come from her. Ain't nobody come from no black man rib. Come from that pussy. Straight the fuck up. And I ain't trying to hip and skip and jump and slide from foot to foot and stuff. You know me, brother Mom. I am going to speak the truth to power to whatever degree it may be needed. And we ain't no scary ass niggas. All that Hollywood bullshit is just Hollywood. Do you know Gone with the Wind? The people who the black, it was the black woman who designed the clothing. The man who the girl fall in love with, that was the black guy. In fact, you know who I'm talking about, tall, dark, and handsome guy in the movie. That was the black guy. You might not look like black, but he's black. We have a so-called black congressman in Congress right now who look white. You would swear up and down that he was white, but he knows himself to be black. I can't think of his name right. In North Carolina, there was the most respected poet of North Carolina, black, but he looked white. So there was a lot of white folk, black folks who passed for white that you were swapping down. Johnson & Johnson founder was a black guy, but he could pass for white. You weren't considered black if you had money. I'm saying you weren't considered black if you had money. You had money and power and land. You had to vote. So it wasn't all about color. You feel what I'm saying? That didn't happen until the 1880s when black folks decided, hey, well, wait a minute. If we can get control of the state, federal, and local government, we can run this shit. That's exactly what happened. And they running game with these black gatekeepers, keeping us ignorant and down. So in reality, we're not weak. In reality, we are the strongest motherfuckers on the goddamn planet. Know that. Feel that. Think that. Because everything is right here. Right here, right between your ears is the promised land, right fucking here. When you water with knowledge and wisdom and understanding, you can create, you can take a desert and create it into a paradise. It's all about your thinking. It starts within you. God is within you. Black man, black woman. White folks scared of you. They wish they could be you. They want to be you. They spend billions of fucking dollars on tanning lotion and melatonin pills trying to get that dark, beautiful skin. Now, what do we do? Think back. Because like I said, when you know the past, you can understand the present and predict the future. When you look at the Crips and the Blood wasn't fighting each other. They were fighting the Ku Klux Klan. That whole shit was started to protect the black community. Malcolm X, beautiful black man. Martin Luther King, you go down the line, beautiful black soul. But they didn't need to die. We had our rights in 1860, motherfucking 5. I ain't bullshitting. You can look and you can see old pictures, well, not actual pictures like Kodak, but you can see drawings of Abraham Lincoln freeing white folks. They were the slaves in America. King James brought them motherfuckers over here to work the sugar plantation and the tobacco plantation and the cotton. Not saying that nigga didn't do that shit, but they were our slaves from the beginning. The word slave come from Indo-European Slavic people. They have always been slaves. Thomas Sowell would tell you in his books that black folks started slavery. Black folks took white folks more into slavery than white folks did with us. So this idea of them being higher than mighty and we can't beat them, they beating their own selves with drugs and methamphetamine, whatever the fuck it is out there right now. They're weak-minded people. They're weak-minded spiritually. They're weak-minded in all kind of ways. I remember when I was in college and I saw this brother, because I had the opportunity to go to all these islands, Tonga, Palau, and Fiji, and see all these beautiful black folks. Do you know that Micronesia and all them other places, they weren't called, what the white folk call? They weren't called, they know they black. But I remember very clearly, like yesterday, that this brother was beating on the thing or whatever you call it, the drums or whatever. And he was saying that they could remember a whole damn 3, 4, 5 pages of things within a minute, and white folk would just laugh. Do you understand how ignorant white folks are? They ignorant than a motherfucker. Because they know they ain't shit and they talk shit. They think they can blow smoke up your ass. That's plain and fucking simple. Don't get moved by them. Don't get flustered by them. Fuck them. Because they know they ain't shit. We educated and we civilized white folks 3 motherfucking times. And they still uncivilized. They don't get it. They have sex with each other like we do normally. We can have 3 or 4. But you know what they do? This is on a real shit. They shit on each other. They piss on each other. They drink the piss and they eat the shit and vomit it back up and have sex with that motherfucker again. Do you understand what the fuck? These are animals. Do you fucking understand what the goddamn I'm saying? I'm not blowing smoke up my ass or smoke up my ass or whatever the fuck it is. I'm being real with this shit. White folks are the motherfucking nastiest motherfuckers going. They have brothels. They have brothels in Europe. Motherfucker. They have brothels in Europe where they have sex with animals. All kinds of fucking animals. Because they animals. They come from the goddamn Central Asia where we put them. They don't come from the motherfucking cat. I don't give a fuck where they come. They're just animals. They have no concept of reality, of morality, because we taught them that, and they still don't. That's the reason why when they came into existence and control of Europe, they only ruled it for 150 years. No more. When they came into Greece and Rome, our civilization, it wasn't the white folk. That was our shit. They only ruled it for 150 fucking years. Now after being kicked out, with black folks being kicked out of Spain in 1492, hello, they only been in control since the 1880s. This is how fucking weak. They had to learn how to read and write and learn how to fire a gun because we created the gun. It was called the fire stick. You can look up all this shit. I'm not lying to you. I'm your brother. I know white folk like the back of my motherfucking hand, and I can tell you right now, I'm here in the Dominican Republic. When white folk get out that motherfucking boat and bus, they are so sweet. Oh, hi. How are you? You're from the oh, and you speak Spanish? Yes, I do, motherfucker. Yo puedo hablar español muy bien como inglés, motherfucker. As a matter of fact, I am Dominican American. Oh, but you will never ever see white folks going down the street here, Ku Klux Klan talking about nigger. We'll shoot them. The word for nigger here in the Dominican Republic is maldito negro. You ain't gonna never see white folk getting out the box talking about nigger. Nigger. It ain't gonna happen here. And it ain't gonna happen in no motherfucking real black neighborhood. In Cali, in Chicago, nigga, in New York, and Mississippi. Black folks ain't playing in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. White folk know what motherfucking tree to climb because they're a motherfucking monkey. And I'm here to tell you, this is not no offensive thing that I'm telling you. There was and is a video. If you ever, are you guys friends with Brother Muhammad on Facebook? If you are, please become friends with him. I want to send you a video of a brother and brothers who are telling you that the top scientist, DNA scientists, gave a study, a DNA study, where the monkey and the chimpanzee and the gorilla scored 3, 4, and 5. Do you know where on the intelligence sequence? Do you know where white folks scored? 6. They're just one step above the monkey. Do you understand what the fuck I'm telling you? They're trying to hide this shit from us. White folks ain't shit. They ain't never been shit, will never be shit, just a polish. Black folks scored a 9 on that DNA sequence. That's why we have the ability to create the pyramids. White folk can't do that because they can't fathom it. The universe is within you, black man, black woman. It's in you to create the universe because we are the fucking universe. We are God. And don't ever forget that. I'll throw it back to you, brother.
All right. Thank you, Brother Isaiah. I want to share screen and look at this quick video and get everybody's opinion on what we're watching. So you're watching in Philadelphia, children, black children, beating up a police officer, older black police officer looks like. But as you can see, knocking him to the ground, smacking him up on his face, and running. These are our children. Now, When I saw it, I said, we're making some movement. We're making movement. I'm going to read some of the comments that are on here. One person says, not only a sergeant, but an older black man. A black man probably born and raised in Philly and trying to make a difference in our community. This is beyond shameful, and I blame the parents, period. Next person says, so many questions. Number one, was anyone arrested? Number two, where's the parents? Number three, what's the next step for the Philly Police Department? Because this is what you can, out of control. Strike. Strike question two, because the parents is looting a liquor store right now. So yeah. Another one says, this young generation has no chance growing up. They will be most likely these, like their parents, in jail, welfare, or dead at a young age. So sad when this young generations get older, they're going to be lost in the real world. Those are the comments from watching this police officer get pushed around and knocked down. And so my question to our panel, when you see this and you hear some of the comments that I read, what is your thought? What do you see? Is this progress, or are we walking backwards in time? Doc?
You know, I'm on the front lines of dealing with collegians and 17, 18-year-old somethings all the way up through usually 23, 24. And one thing I can tell you for sure is that this here is deplorable and symptomatic of a whole lot of things that have gone wrong. And I won't just say within the community, I'll say within those households. And our children right now, and I think Black America right now, to be honest with you, we're several different populations operating within the same phenotype. And there's nothing that you can really do with this portion of Black America. When you look at, and it's in every area. I don't care if you're talking about education and the unruliness that happens and the disrespect that is doled out on educators every day, or if we're even talking about something like Black popular culture, or the hip hop culture in particular, and you look at how in 20 years we went from Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, Yo-Yo, rapping "I Want to Be Down," to having Sexy Red talk about Pound Town. There is a part of our population that has devolved from where we were. And as a result of that devolution, there's nothing that you can do to help them. This is a man right here who, and of course I'm projecting and what have you, but this is a man who probably went into law enforcement to protect Black America, and to see the children that are being produced by Black America behaving in such a way is deplorable. I've been called in to address Black students at the collegiate level for being unruly several times. I remember an African professor was up lecturing, and I just happened to be walking down the hallway, and one of the students yelled out, "Man, shut your stupid ass up. This is college we talking about." And so I think that, we talk about, and we hear Black women talking about this divestment that they have in Black men. In many ways, I have a divestment in dealing with niggas. If you show me that you a nutty nigga, I will not deal with you because there's no way that you're going forward. And one of my telltale signs, and this is sort of I developed this when I was working with the Ohio State football program. If I came across a player that I wanted success more than he did, meaning I was putting forth more effort than he was, I shut that relationship down immediately. Because you got to have some pride, you got to have some discipline, and you get that in the home. This right here is not white folk fault. This is homegrown. This is us at our worst. And I don't believe that there's a black man or black woman walking on the face of the planet Earth that they would respect, that could correct this. Because in many ways, their idols, their heroes, and what have you, behave like that. And like I said, I see it every day. And if I come across it, I don't even engage niggas no more. And that's what you're looking at right there, is a bunch of young niggas. And I yield.
Doc, let me ask you, because in the video, you can see at one point, looks like he reaches for his gun and he changes his mind.
Yeah.
If he were to pull that gun and start shooting, what do you think would have been the next step? What would have happened?
What do you mean, what would have happened?
If he pulled that gun and started shooting the children, what would have happened? What do you think would have happened next?
There would have been some dead children there.
Do you think he would have been charged or no?
Probably not, because I don't see non-niggas, regardless of their race, having an ounce of sympathy for what we're seeing right there. What we're seeing right here, to be honest with you, when you're talking about damaging a racial image and a racial brand, that's what you're seeing right there. And it's the reason that we can elongate this and move it back to what we were talking about with the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum and why the Jews are treated the way they are. Once again, it's how they tell their story. They tell their story from a position of power, yet amazingly, they're able to fashion themselves as victims. This right here is why it took black folk to put money together to create the African American Museum. Because after looking at this, one would be on solid ground to ask, what in the hell have niggas ever created if this is how they act? We're lost. This demographic right here that you're looking at, save for one or two of them, it's a wrap. And white folk are going to continue to fund society off of them because they're going to prison or some social service agency, okay? And it's going to employ white folk to watch them and to monitor them. So if he had pulled out his gun, nothing would have happened outside some dead children.
Doc, do you think if he was a white cop, would those black children do the same thing?
Yes. Yes. This isn't. And I've seen this done to white cops before. That's why I'm saying yes. In my hometown, we had a situation where some black kids at the high school actually did this to a white cop. And what came out of that, he didn't shoot them, but what came out of that was about 25 to 30 black kids who were never allowed to set foot on public school property ever again. It was a wrap for their lives. But the disrespect, and I'll answer it this way. I believe that there is more reverence and respect for white. I know there's more respect for white authority figures than there are black in black children's minds. And I know I've told you this story of having a class where I'm up there lecturing. There were 3 or 4 black girls in my class who said, well, just move on to the next point, James. Just keep going, James. Girl, he ain't got no PhD, let alone a degree. It took a black dean one of the black deans from my college to come over to pull them out of class because I wanted them removed. Grab my office keys, take them up to my office, and show them that I got a PhD and 3 master's degrees. And then after that, they wanted to sit down and apologize. No, fuck you. And get the fuck out of my class. We have to be the hard line in regards to this shit right here, because white folk are gonna kill them. And that's just what it comes down to. But this is deplorable.
So Doc, let me ask you this. When you have the situation that we have living in America, and you have the police that, don't respect you, kill you at will, do all these evil things against you, take your rights, all of this stuff. There's your disrespect in a people will produce an effect. Now, what I'm looking at, I see it as a rejection of authority that the children see. I don't see you as an authority over me. I see you, and this is me projecting because I haven't spoken to any of the children, so I'm projecting on here. But if they're watching TV like everybody else and see these dirty cops doing what they do, then there's going to immediately grow the seed of hatred for these cops. It's going to grow the seed of dislike for these cops. So when they engage with them, there's not going to be no reverence. There's not going to be no, okay, yes, sir, Mr. Cop, blah, blah, blah. There's that already, that animosity there. So you're the cop against us. And that seed is there not because of the children are bad children, but this is what America has produced. This is what their illegality, their rotten behavior has produced on us.
I don't dispute anything that you just said. I don't dispute and I don't push back against your analysis even. However, I believe that there is a pervasive disrespect and hatred for previous generations that come from what I would like to call a very small vocal minority segment of Black children. We have some children that you can't do anything with regardless of who you are. And I'm talking about including parents. Now, as to who's to blame for that, who's at fault for that, I would spend less time talking about who's at fault and more time talking about who should be correcting it. Because we all know the game within the game within the game that's within the game. And it's our duty to teach them the game and how to navigate their way through this society. Let's be very clear about this. As a Black man with 5 fucking degrees, I can tell you I still have to use strategy and cunningness to be able to get anywhere within this society. I didn't go to the East Texas Historical Association because I wanted to. I went there because opportunity was there. And then also we need to have a very, and this is a different topic, a different area. We need to be very careful about the lives that we live. Because the lives that we live may not be our own. And what I'm really talking about is this adaptation, this adoption that so many young Black folk have of hatred for the world. And they personally ain't been through shit. They're living the lives that they've heard about from their aunt, from their dad, from their, oh, that's a problem. But what we're seeing here, this is a microcosm of Black America. That's what we're looking at. This is, I understand the larger context of white folk and institutionalized racism and white world supremacy, whatever you want to dredge up. I understand, but this is home. And I don't care how you act wherever else you at. Yo, this is home. I'm tired of seeing. I'm in Houston, Texas. One of the most celebrated areas of Houston, Freedmanstown. Freedmanstown, also known as the Fourth Ward. You come here and ask them for Freedmanstown or the Fourth Ward right now, they'll look at you like you're crazy. What you mean, Midtown? Because white folk have come in, cleaned it up, and have flipped it. So much that Black folk can't even afford to be down there no more. Same thing has happened with the Fifth Ward, where the Ghetto Boys was at. Fifth Ward ain't even known as the Fifth Ward no more. It's the Economic Corridor. We got to clean up our shit, because ain't nobody, like John Henry Clark said, ain't nobody coming to save you. And this is not the way. And the fact that we put this on social media and people laugh and people throw likes and X, Y, and you wonder why your shit is fucked up. We're the only ones out here that's really playing. And fortunately for me, I know better than to say that it's all of us. But there's a segment of us who are still out here playing, and trust me, these devils are going to get their hands on them, and they will put them away till a point where they never see sunshine again. And I yield, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Doc. Sister Valerie?
So when I look at this, I look at a bunch of kids with no home training. They just out of control, and the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Not all cops are bad cops, but I believe that they're acting out like this because of, the Floyd case and, different cases against the police, because there are some bad cops. However, there are some good ones too. So I believe that their parents need to get some control over them, because that's not acceptable behavior.
Do you now, you yourself, you told us before that, you had run in with the police, and I believe the police had knocked you down.
Yes.
Do you believe at any time, because I know President Obama said that there's never a reason to kill a police officer. I'm not dealing with killing one, but do you think there's ever a time when they should be treated like what we're watching right now?
Oh, definitely. Because there's some out there, like the ones that, and they just happen to be white, that threw me on the ground that night. So yeah, there is a time to act like that.
So how would you instruct, if you were able to talk to this group of children, how would you delineate which time it is to act like that and which time is not?
I would just call them together and be like, yo, and just try to talk to them and tell them this is not the answer, because if he had pulled out his gun, some of them jokers would be dead. Then their mama be crying wolf and woe is me. But what about what the kids are doing?
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that there's never a time for the children that should behave like this.
So that's kind of like a twofold, because some of them have a reason. Some cops have beat up their dad, killed their dad, shot, kicked the doors in, because some point they have done bad stuff. And so I'm not saying that there's never a time, but I do say that get the ones that's out here, the bad cops. And frankly, just looking at the video, I can't tell if this cop is a bad cop or not. But there are some that do deserve to be taken down, because they're going to treat you worse than they treating this cop right here.
Okay. All right. Excellent. And let me jump right back to Doc, because Doc, I want to ask you the same question that I just asked Sister Valerie. If you were able to talk to this group of children that's out here doing this, and you got your good cops and your bad cops, would you tell them that it would be okay to do this to bad cops, or they shouldn't do this to any cop?
I couldn't say that you shouldn't do this to any cop, but what I would implore them to do is to develop discipline, focus, develop their minds so that they can make a decision as to if this type of treatment is warranted or if it is not. What we have right here is in many ways mindless madness going on. It all starts with the mind. It all starts with discipline. You know, I deal with students who are often steeped in some type of fantasy drug culture. And they talk about, yeah, you know, I was out there pushing weight and blah, blah, blah. I know they're lying. And I say to them quite simply, how in the hell you going to arrange a life or death drug deal and you can't even turn a paper in on time? It's all about discipline. It's all about getting your mind together. And the thing is that, you know, for some of us, and I'm dealing with this as personal family issue. My brother-in-law is in a halfway house right now, and they had got him a job, and it's a slick game they run on him where he got to pay like 40% of his earnings, and it's under the guise of they're trying to get him back into society. Well, the company is one of those that got caught up in the automotive industry, so their production got shut down. Okay, so the UAW strike affected them. Without job, without something to do, he didn't got himself in trouble again. You know, and my when I talk to him, the thing that I tell him is, you're an addict. Okay, you're you know, you're addicted to crack cocaine. You'll be an addict your entire life. Just like I'll be an addict my entire life of sugar. And anybody that's watched me, you know good and well that what? I'm often popping candy in my mouth. It's an addiction. And it's addiction that costs me severely. Okay. And the best thing that I can tell him is what I would tell them is moment by moment. That those of us who have something that is quote unquote wrong with us, that we need to deal with it on a moment by moment basis, not a daily or weekly basis. We can't afford that. So my statement to them would be quite simply, we gotta deal with a thinking process problem. We got to deal with a impulse control problem. And we got to deal with also the truth. And the truth of the matter is quite simply that you're black in a white nation that hates black people. So we got to prepare you. You got to overstand the game, as Monster Cody Scott would often say. You can't afford any missteps. But all of that happens behind closed doors amongst us, that mentoring, that educational process, and that. But parents, you got to give us something to work with. You got to have some stability at home. You got to do something different from whatever it is that you were raised up in. And I yield, brother.
Thank you, Doc. Sister
Hey,
Cassie.
could you stop the video, man?
This happened for a reason. Okay. Who's teaching our children right now? Every time something like this we see, we blame our children. Do we ever blame where it came from? Can we go back to where it came from? Do you think our children would have been acting like this if they had been in their black schools, taught by black teachers, taught how to love themselves and how to respect themselves and how to respect their elders? Do you really believe this would have happened? Let's go all the way back. Doc, I understand you doing what you do in your class, but before you, and some of these other classes they get into. I just seen a thing where you had a black student who the resource officer was harassing him. And he was trying to walk away. And the resource officer was walking behind him talking. So what happened? He had to handle his business. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not trying to cut you off, but you're absolutely positively correct.
But where's the respect that for everybody? Where's the respect? Our children are tired.
We
this
have
young
to.
Man, hold on, Doc.
Hold on 1 second. We have to be the ones that create that bubble of respect for our children to protect.
We have to create. We have to start teaching our own children. That's what we have to do.
I have
because we have gotten to the point where our children act just like their children. Okay,
yeah,
that's what we're teaching our children.
But
so
going
our
back
children
to,
now are acting disrespectful the same way they children acted.
Yeah,
they got it from somewhere. They didn't come and get it from home.
I don't
we have to understand that it's time for us to understand that those children right there, they're acting that way for a reason. That man right there, that officer who y'all say, because I've never seen a black officer, okay, black or white, respect our black children. Period. I know what kind of officers, black officers they're hiring. Because I went to the academy and I saw what type of black officers they were hiring, and they were coons and they were self-haters.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say real quick. Let me say this real quick. I have a colleague who was actually at the East Texas. We work at the same university, and he told this story because we were on a panel that was dealing with racial violence, and he tells this story. He says, the way they treat our children, even on a campus. We're on a black college campus. Exactly. And we have black cops, and we had cops of every race. And he tells this story. He says that he's driving on campus, and keep in mind, our speed limit on campus is 20 miles per hour. He got pulled over. And he says, under the guise of not hitting his left turn signal, and the cop comes out, writes him a ticket, and it's real abrasive. And he says to the cop, he says, "You thought I was one of these kids, didn't you?"
Exactly.
And he says, "Well, it doesn't matter if you broke the law and blah, 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 blah." And his point was, if he would do that to a grown man who's obviously a professor here, Lord only knows how they treat. And I'm talking about in a black context. Just this past week, I had a cop come to my class, and they'll walk in and they're like waving their hands like they're trying to get your attention. I got 200-300 students, and this cop says, "Do you know so and so?" And he names the student's name, and ironically, I knew him. And I'm sitting there looking, and I can see the cop and the student in the same sign of, I said, "No, he ain't here today." So I agree with you wholeheartedly that much of this is a reaction. But the problem that we have right now is that this didn't start in this generation. We're dealing with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 generations of police brutality. Exactly. We're dealing with 5, 6 since 1954. We're dealing with an integrated school system.
They're tired.
Until we get our minds right, we ain't going nowhere.
They're tired. So you're gonna see a whole lot of this going on, right? Because this generation right here ain't tolerating none of it. We dropped the ball. 60, 70 babies, we dropped the ball. Okay. Our babies are picking up that ball and they ready to fight. Did you see the one I sent you, Maurice, where the boy and the officer was fighting? And a whole lot of people. See, I'm listening to black folk and I'm listening at what y'all saying. You're putting the blame on our babies. We got to understand where all this came from. They're in Wild Kingdom right now. These schools don't give a crap about your babies. They are acting like this for a reason because they got prisons waiting for them. So they have no order in these schools. They're not teaching your children nothing. And you allow them to continue teaching your children because you think white is right. They can treat your babies and teach them LGBT, elemental P, and you okay with it. So when our kids act like they kids because of who taught them, what did Malcolm say? Who taught you your hair was nappy? Who taught you how to dislike yourself? But I'm just mad because the officer wasn't white. Because I know what kind of black officers they hire. And all of them are coons. They wouldn't let me on the police force. I'm just saying, right? But they'll let him on there. How do you know he wasn't disrespecting them babies? That he got done like that for a reason. Let's look at the deeper issue. Kids aren't going to disrespect you unless you've disrespected them, or they feel that you have an issue against them, or they feel that you don't care. They're not going to treat you any kind of way. I could walk in any classroom and I'll give utmost respect because they know I have a heart for them. They can feel you. If you have an issue with a child or a whole classroom full of Black kids that don't like you, it's for a reason. It's for a reason. Because they can feel that animosity. They can feel all of that you got against them. So we have to get together and we have to understand where is this coming from. We have to take our babies and teach and educate our own babies. Because I'm going to tell you what, if they was in these Black schools being taught by Black teachers that care, Black folk that's going to love on our children, they wouldn't act like that. They acting like them white kids. It's hard to be colonized and not turn around and act like them. Who's shooting up schools? Okay, but they want to tell you how to teach your children. You can't tell me nothing. Go stop them school shooters. Go stop your babies from shooting up Walmarts. Where did it all come from? That's what we have to understand. And as long as you're allowing them to educate your children, it's not going to change. Because they have taught your children how to hate you, how to hate themselves, how to hate their Blackness, how to hate each other. That's why they treating that man the way they treat him. It's some disrespect somewhere up in there. People don't understand that. It came from somewhere. But we're going to blame our Black mothers. We're going to blame our Black children. Instead of blaming the root of it. It's allowing evil folk to educate your children. Get them out of their schools. Start educating your own babies. Let's start from kindergarten. And then we have Black folk talking about, oh, they were unruly. Oh, they this, that, and the other. Shut the hell up. What are you talking about? Let's go all the way back. Where it start? Did they always act like that? No, they did not. Remember when we had our moms and dads in the house, did our children act like that? No, they didn't. But who took the dads away from them? Your government. And we're not mad about that. Who took their fathers? Who took the mentors? Who took their protectors? Who took the person that was supposed to teach these boys how to be men out of the house? Who put drugs in our neighborhood? Who took the jobs? Who put them in jail? Who separated our families? So what, these kids supposed to teach themselves? And now the moms got to work 18-hour days. Come on, you guys. Let's put the blame where the blame go. This is all done by design. And we sitting up here blaming our babies instead of fixing the damn problem. Let's create our own schools and start educating our own babies. And I guarantee you, you'll get a different mindset. You'll get a different mindset. Let's start bringing Black families back together. Let's start putting our kings back in the home. Because the men, for real, I don't want to teach them boys. You seen a bunch of unruly boys. Why? Where the man's at? Where the daddies? Where the daddies at, daddies? When last time you held your child? When last time you encouraged your son? Besides over there with Becky, having babies with Becky. And ain't talk to your son, your birth child, but taking care of her kids by another man. So that's an issue. That's an issue. That's a problem. And I'm going to go back to that elephant story. How they separated the male elephants and the women and children. Okay, I know it's not women, but the elephant women or female elephants and the kids were together, right? And these little boys, not the little boy, y'all know, male elephants was just wreaking havoc along everybody. They was looking at this. What's going on here? You can pull up the story, read it. They said, what's going on? They said, hold on. With the man elephants aren't there. The male elephants aren't there. Let's put them all, let's get the male. We got to put them back in the mix because they was out of order because the head wasn't there. The leader wasn't there. The mentor, the man, the voice, the king wasn't there. They did this on purpose. And now you want to blame our babies for what they did to us? How do you correct this when you're still in the midst of it? You can't. You have to separate. In order to change this problem, in order to fix this problem, you've got to separate and start educating your own babies. We didn't. Our babies wasn't acting like that when they had their dads in the house. They weren't there. Because that man said, boy, what's wrong with you over there? Better sit that ass down. Or he'd have knocked him to the floor. But you ain't got that man in the house to knock nobody to the floor now. You got women trying to do the job of a man. You got women trying to take care of the family. When you got a whole man across the street with Becky who taking care of her babies and not making sure your child is okay. I seen a video where the guy was talking about the woman, and the woman was saying something, and he said, because I'm not with you, and it talked about the child, not being there for the child. And he said something about, because I'm not being there with you, but you don't disrespect and you don't not be there for your child because you're not with the woman. That's the point of the matter is, even if you're not still there, that's still your child. You make sure that child is good. I guarantee you them children wouldn't have been acting like that if that daddy was in that house. Our kids didn't act like this when daddy was in the house. I want y'all to forget this. We seem to be forgetting this. Our children acting like this for a reason. Let's fix it. We're not going to blame our babies. We're going to blame your grown-ass men, grown folk, the system, your government, who put half Biden, who you put him in office, gave him the highest seat, but he did the most harm to black families. Clinton, who put the rest of our men in jail, who separated families, but didn't do the white families like that. Not doing the immigrant families like that, are you? The immigrants get to come over here and have their whole families, the grandma, aunts, uncles, everybody in the family. But still got black folk talking about Section 8. You can't have no man in the house. The hell with your stuff. You keep your government stuff. We don't need that. I'm going to have my babies, daddy, husbands in the house. Let them keep their programs. So let's really be honest here. Where did it all start? On purpose. These schools is wild kingdom on purpose. If it was good for your children wouldn't be in them schools. That's why the Jewish kids not in those schools, are they? No, why? Because they educate their own children, because they know, because they're over the school boards. That's why they put the LGBT in your schools. But they're not teaching their kids that, are they? But you're going to allow them to teach your children? This is done on purpose. And I dare you to blame our babies for grown men stuff, your government stuff. They didn't ask to be here. They didn't ask to go through what they're going through. When y'all men want to change the situation, get your asses back in them houses. Be the head of your household. Go get your son sometime. Go get him. Age 10 to 20. Go get your son and raise your son. You don't want to be with the woman? Okay. 1 to 9, let her raise him. Let her put her stuff in there. But you still have some impact in there. You still have some say in there. From 10 to 20, he got to go. You raise him. But no, men don't want to do that. They need both parents. You won't have that problem. You have both parents in the house, or both parents having some kind of impact on their children. We want to blame other folk. We want to blame stuff. Come on, let's put the blame where it goes. It's a whole lot going on around here. We look at our babies, why they act like that. Well, why the hell you not in your house making sure your son don't act like that? Why you not showing his mom respect, even though, yeah, y'all saw something in each other in the beginning? So now all of a sudden you hating each other? You wasn't hating her when you was in her legs, between her legs, was you? Before you made that baby, was you? Now all of a sudden you can't stand her. Get out of here. I rest my mic.
Sister Cassie, let me ask you this. Could it be that our God got those children fearless like that because the time that we're living in requires fearlessness?
It requires.
That they may be the Joshua generation that raised up to fight.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They just need proper direction.
You need that direction. But these children right here, this is the generation that's going to free us. I don't care what nobody says. This generation, they just need a way. Like you said, they need that path. They need to understand how to rein that anger, rein that rage, rein it in, and redirect it to the right individuals. And I'm not talking about individuals that look like us, but that's all they know right now. Because they got white folk teaching them that you the enemy. Black folk the enemy. They the enemy. Teaching them how to hate themselves. And then we got the nerves to blame our children. And then we wonder why they act the fool. Look what they coming home to. We fighting against each other. Black folk and white. Black folk, male and female, don't like each other. What in the hell? What's that about? What's going on with that? We see what's going on. Why fix it? Why not fix it? Why not fix it? That's an issue. What? You got your kids in the middle of mess. Come on. Men. Yes, I'm calling out the men. Take your son with you. You got to go. Take him with you. Raise him. Don't leave him with that woman. She don't know how to raise a man. Y'all cowards leaving them boys with them girls, with them ladies, with them women. Y'all cowards. Not even teaching your son how to be a man. She can't teach him how to be a man. I don't even know how to teach a son how to piss. What, I'm going to teach him how to sit down? Come on, you guys. That's out of order. That is out of order because that's the lack of what? The lack of love. And I'm going back to the officer. A lot of Black officers disrespect our babies. They the roughest on our babies. We the roughest on each other. You think he didn't deserve that beat down? All of them deserve it. Every last officer out there. Ain't not one good one. Not one. Because if you're going to sit there, if you're Black, and you're going to see an officer treating your sister the way they treat us, and you call it, silence is golden, right? I ain't seen one good Black officer. I ain't seen one because I seen them be the roughest on Black folk. So all of them are nothings. Ain't not one good. I'll rest.
Thank you, Sister Cassie. Brother Isaiah?
Yeah.
Stay on topic, Brother Isaiah.
Okay. I'll have to agree with brother, with Doc and our sisters. I mean, and I'm sitting back and I'm about my own life. And when I was a young man, I grew up in the 70s. I was born in 72. Really, almost 73. I was born in December. And, you know, before he died, I can remember my great grandfather, Two Gun Pete. He was a Chicago police guy. And when my father died at 14, almost 15, my mother got remarried some years later to another guy, and I was going through it, you know what I mean? And I can understand some of the rage that some of these young Black kids, boys and girls, can have when a father is not in the home. But I did have a father until I was 14, 15. Then, you know, my father died, and then my mother, some years later, before I went to college, she married a police officer, very good guy. Never forced me to call him dad. He never, you know, did anything like that. I grew to really love the man. You know what I mean? He was a strict guy, which is what I needed at that time. He never disciplined me. He just had to look. That was it, you know. And then my mother was very strict. But if you look back, and this is why I say all the time that when you know the past, you can understand the present and predict the future. In the 1900s, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, going into the 70s, white women started to have problems with their white men. Black women never had a problem with their Black men until they got with the white woman. If the Black man got out of place, you know what you women were going to do. Y'all going to pick up that skillet. Just ran across that head. You know what I mean? But on the real, I felt, not just heard, I felt all of the pain, the frustration, the aggravation, you know, however you want to put it, and the voices that you guys were expressing. And to see the Black officer being disrespected like that, and I'm pretty sure you guys understood. You guys remember the 70s? Was it in the 70s? I think it was in the late 70s, early 80s. They came out with a series called "Scared Straight," and talk about, you know, what it meant to go to jail. And the guy that Boondock did a special on all the time. Booty Warrior. Dude loved men. And he was incarcerated damn near all his life. But the idea of man getting mad and getting your butt busted, or a woman going in there and eating a bloody cookie, that's enough to keep a motherfucker straight. You know what I mean? But these kids nowadays, and I can remember when I was in Chicago, and I was trying to break up a fight with I was like in my mid to late 20s, somewhere around. I don't know. And I was trying to break up a fight with these young black kids. You know, they had to be about their age, about 15, 18, somewhere around there. No older than 18. I know. And they were coming from not from school. And I got out of the car, and I was, my heart broke, man. They're like, man, why y'all fighting? Y'all don't need to be fighting. All of a sudden, I see a snowball go past me. I mean, fuck you, niggas. Kill yourself. Fuck you. I'm gone. There's just some people you just can't save, baby. Some people don't want to be saved. They don't. And the ones that want to be saved, like Doc was saying, to want them get your black, is that right, Doc? Get your black ass up out of here, something like that. There's some people who need time, who want time. That's all they want from a respected black adult that got common sense, that have an understanding that can give them the rooting that they need. And like I had, I was praying to God, and God answered my prayers. With John Rogers, that was the name I was trying to think of. That was long before he had controlling a $15 billion mutual fund with Aerial Capital Management. That brother sat me down and taught me everything. I would never forget it. The first stock I ever bought was, oh shit, I don't forget. But anyway, I bought it. I went to his office. He never asked me for no money up front. I opened up my first stock account. And from there, that was on. I stayed in contact with him. I don't talk to him as much as I used to. But the idea is that he took time for a young brother. Now, he was just graduated from Princeton. And I was just graduated. I was almost out of high school. So I've been blessed in a lot of ways. And I'm very, very thankful. And when I speak to Aaron and Jacob, my two sons, I spend time with them, just like the men in my life spend time with me, to show them that you are more than what you could ever dream, that our ancestors created every civilization on the planet, that we are the greatest people in the world, but that does not give you the onus nor the right to sit on your ass and don't do shit. You have the responsibility to bring something to the table, to raise the level of humanity to another notch or another notch. That is your responsibility, to pay it forward. That is our ancestors, what they did, that brought us to where we are right now. Now, we can sit up here and we can hoop and holler and yell and scream about white folks, but at the end of the day, the black man must take root in the black family. And the black woman is the body, and the black man is the head. The head can't do nothing without the body, and the body can't do nothing without the head. It is the Trinity. It is the Trinity of the black man, the black woman, and child. Just like the Immaculate Jesus, just like the Jesus and his mama and his daddy, whatever the hell I don't forget. School. But the idea is still the same. These are mythological ideas that are within us. And when we realize that and recognize that the fourth thing of God is in us, there is nothing that we can't do. The will of the black man and the black woman together is undeniably strong. Can't be undone because it has been done since the beginning. We are the beginning, the middle, and the end, baby. Ain't nothing beating us but us. Bottom line, ain't nothing but a thing but a chicken wing up in here. Know what I mean? So when we look back and we surmise the situation, we have to realize that the onus and the responsibility is all on our back. And I take that very personally. I have a beautiful young daughter. She's 32. I have a young father. I'll be 53 this year. But I took care of mine. I worked every day at the post office until I retired after 15 years. I took care of mine. And I was very proud to be a black man running a black family with a black mother. We got a divorce, but everything don't happen. Everything don't last. We're still good friends. You know what I mean? But the idea is that now with my new wife and my new kid, what you did at 20, you don't do at 30. What you do at 30, you don't do at 40. You do at 40, you don't do at 50. You feel me? And so as we grow, we come into a new level of awareness, a new level of appreciation, a new level of consciousness. I'm a hell of a lot different than what I was when I was 20 and 30. I know a hell of a lot more. And I don't know who said it. I'm going to think it was Bill. I think it was Bill Cosby. Yeah, I think it was. But anyway, he said, if you still know what you know at 20, what you know at 30, 40, and 50, and you ain't grown, then you a damn fool. You must question everything that comes across your motherfucking table. I don't care how ridiculous it is. I don't care how silly it is. I don't care anything. You don't take anything for face value. You just don't. And it is so very important that we understand our history. Yes, Robert, reparation. We must understand our history and what that means and how we got to where we are. Because if we don't, we just gonna be running around in circles. The onus is on us. History guides us. It is a dynamic that we must come to understand spiritually, emotionally, and physically, because within this realm of the 3D dimension in which we live, it is only but a minute. But our words and our deeds and our actions lay the groundwork for the future of our kids. And we owe that money to them. We owe it. If we don't pay it now, they're going to pay it later with all this frustration and aggravating and acting out and doing this and doing that and not acting right. Ultimately, it's on them. But if the parent ain't about shit, I can guarantee you that the kids ain't gonna be about shit. I can guarantee you that. Black, white, just ain't whatever. But white folks ain't as good and as holy and as right and as perfect as you might want to. They fucked up. They just not a. They're not dealing with the situation like we do. I remember I got my ass whooped. Like we all do, and we all done that. You know what I mean? So I have a greater respect for our elders, not only in this present generation, but in the past. And I respect that. I mean, and I pass that on to my sons. I pass that on to my daughter. That hey, everything begins with you must study, you must learn, you must grow, you must become an impeccable part of our society, America, and wherever black folks may be. Because at the end of the day, you can't blame nobody but you. Nobody. We can blame the white man doing it, and they ain't as powerful as I want to think, but they ain't shit. They have never been shit. Are there some good white folks? No, in my opinion, that's just my opinion. Because they ain't going to fight for you. There ain't no good motherfucking white folks fighting for you niggas. None. Even in 1960 when Martin Luther King and all them, they were there just to take advantage of the situation. They weren't there for you. For you niggas. You were just a nigga. If you let them, you just a darky. You're just a Sambo. But if you know your history, check it out. If you know your history, you know who they are, where they've come from, and what they are capable of. And without the black man, without the black woman, the white man ain't shit. Don't you ever forget this shit. Don't you ever, for as long as your ass is pointing toward the ground, the sun's shining, the creek don't run. Don't you ever forget that shit. White folks ain't shit. They ain't never fought for you. They ain't never died for you, but your own. Do you understand me? Never forget that shit. I'm serious as a motherfucking heart attack about that. Especially with my black kids growing up in the Dominican Republic. They must know who their enemy are. And the worst fucking enemy is a motherfucking nigga that want to protect white. Just like I think you were who were talking about, the congressman that died not so long ago. There were two of them. These motherfuckers might have been white. They weren't protecting they weren't protecting their own. They let garbage and shit pile up, and they were damn sure they had white folks' neighborhood really fucking clean. Do you understand me? Never, ever for your ass, for as long as your ass is black, it's gonna be a black for a long motherfucking time. Don't you ever think that white folks are really on your side. The only white folks I got is right here. My bottom part of my motherfucking hand. That's about as white I'm gonna get. Do you understand me? So get it right. Know who your enemies are inside and out, because we got perhaps, and I'm gonna say perhaps, more enemies on the inside than we do on the outside. If you can determine who your enemies on the outside is and deal with them motherfuckers on the straight up, on the up and up. But when you got somebody that look like you, and you know they got one arm around you and the other hand around you, but they got a knife in that motherfucker, you better wake the fuck up and realize, on the real, I love mine. I love mine.
Brother
I'm
Isaiah.
out.
Thank you, Brother Isaiah. I got one more video to show, then we're going to move to closing comments. I'm gonna replay it, and that's a girl in high school. And if you listen real good, you can hear when her head hits that ground. Boom. You can hear it. Now for me, I would have loved for those children we saw in the first video to be there so that they would attack that enemy. I really believe with everything in my being that this fight that's going to happen is real. I really believe that we go through stuff like this and it has to come to an end. But we're not going to bring it to an end by being mild-mannered, nice people who love authority, who are not righteous, who are not even authorized to be authority over us. And so we can play the lay down game and think that you're going to be free, and you're not. You'll just continue this on and on and on and on. We're not dealing with moral people. We're dealing with savages. And damn it, sometimes it may take a savage to take out a savage. That may be the reality. So I think that looking at it and keeping all things in balance, I think our children that we saw in the first video will be the fighters and willing to go places and do the things that need to be done. See, we can't keep moralizing a war when you're fighting an enemy who has no morality. We just can't. And we have to realize that these demons, they don't have no cut cards. They don't have no thing, well, I ain't going to do that. You know, I ain't going to. No, they're going to do whatever their mind suggests to them to do to us. And we got to fight fire with fire. We got to fight fire with fire. And see, this is what we're learning if we look and deal with the Israelis and the Palestinians. You got the Palestinians that want to talk and be friends and say, yeah, let's have a two-party state. Yeah, let's be brothers. Let's get along and get well. But you're trying to get along with an enemy who wants you dead. There is no sharing. There will never be no sharing. Them Zionists don't want to share a damn thing but a glass of wine over your dead body. When Netanyahu said we want all of them dead, he wasn't just saying all of Hamas. He was saying all of the Palestinians dead. That ain't Israel. That ain't the Zionist land. That ain't them fake Jews' land. And so we got to understand that the same mind that is in Netanyahu and the Zionists is the same mind that's in the white folks here. And you ain't going to defeat that with being nice. You ain't going to defeat that with being moral. Because your morality will get you killed. Your niceness will get you killed. That's the realities of war. And that's the realities that we are in. Like we saw the other, we showed the video with a cracker with the dog. Was choking her dog damn near to death. The dog gotta fight her because she's so hateful towards the black man, not realizing she's killing her dog, trying to get the black man arrested. These demons don't have no love, no cut cards for us. And maybe some of us are too nice, too civil to understand war is war. And God had to raise up a nation of warriors that will meet them on the battlefield and do as to them as was done to us. See, don't make the mistake that Hannibal made. Brother Isaiah referred to him earlier, that he studied in the U.S. war colleges. And he is. But Hannibal made a mistake. He made a mistake when he was going around defeating Rome. He gave them morality and waited for them to surrender. And they were shocked. The nigga not gonna come and finish us. He gonna wait. And they came back around, regathered their strength, and took them out. You don't give the enemy no breathing room when you got them on the run. You can't be moral with them, expecting them to do what you would do. Okay, you got us, we lost, you got it now. No. That ain't gonna work. Their history done told you, you gotta kill them, or they will come back and kill you. It's just that simple. It is just that simple. We're gonna go to closing arguments, closing comments, because we're over our time. And so my question that I would ask to our panel in your closing comments for you to address is, just as we saw with the last video, our sister slammed to the ground and you hear her head bounce and knocked her completely out. And that cracker didn't have no morality for her. You okay? I done heard you bump your head. You all right? Throwing her in handcuffs because he didn't give a damn about her. And when you're in that blue uniform, you have the mind that go with that blue uniform. Let us not get that confused. Let us not get that confused. Would you want those children in the first video to be present in the second video and to handle business? Because that cop should have got his ass whooped. I really believe he should have got his ass whooped. That's the date and time that we're in. Doc, let's start with you.
All right, brother. Once again, great to be here with all of you. To answer your question, I would definitely want that first group of students to be there. However, I would want that first group of students to only attack if they understood why they were attacking. If they had developed minds and consciousness to the point where they said, this right here we're not going to stand for it. And that is a level of understanding and discipline that we're going to need regardless of where we try to go or what we try to do in the future. So I'm all for action, and that action has to be informed and motivated by a sound, secure analysis and discipline. And we have to have the discipline to do what it takes to be free and to understand that we can be moral with people who are going to be rational and moral. But anybody who ever shows a moment of immorality, of not being able to understand, or just being so selfish that they're going to do whatever they have to do to win, we got to mirror that and let it be known that regardless of how you want to do this, we're going to be here and we serious about ours. And I yield.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Doc. Sis Valerie?
So I do believe that the kids in the first video should have been in this video that took care of that cop, because that was unnecessary. They took their power to the top, over the top. White cop beating up black child. I mean, it doesn't even look right. I mean, plus it was a female. It wasn't even a guy. So, why would you do that? I didn't see no weapons. So why are you doing that? It just doesn't make sense. And that's when we know that riots start, and that's why riots start. That's why there's so much war against one another, because of stuff like that. And that's definitely not a good situation. And I believe that the cops should be dealt with that did that. And even the cop that was just on standby, standing looking, should be punished or beat up by the kids, just as the one that was actually slamming the girl's head. She may have mental illness for the rest of her life because of that hard slam, or something wrong with her brain for the and it's just crazy. But in closing, I want to let my sister up there ram in the bush. I got my piece. You came for me, but that's okay. I got my candy, my piece of candy. I do protect my family. I will at all costs. But it's all good. Good to be here. Thank y'all for letting me share tonight.
Yes, man.
It's all love, girl. It's all love. It is. It's all love. You know I don't mean no harm, right?
Yeah.
I love y'all. Y'all
I love y'all too.
Well, thank you, Maurice, for even allowing me to speak and to share my opinion. But yeah, that video right there, we needed them babies. And I mean, lock the school down and just wear him out. Do to him what you did to that baby. We can't, as parents, we can't spank our children, but they can throw our children against the floor and cause some kind of, because it caused some kind of brain something going on. Right. That was a concussion or something. Yeah. The way if that man picked that baby up and slammed her to the ground, did he have cause? No, you don't have cause to touch our children like that. Mm-mm. And not only should them boys have, her daddy should have been up there. Come on in the alley. Yeah. Where he live? Let's handle our business. Tell you, put your mask on and do the Ku Klux Klan. What they have the sheets on? We need our black skull caps on. Go visit. Go take a visit at his house. I'm not condoning violence. I'm condoning justice, because that's what should happen. You do unto my child, I'm gonna do unto you. Plain and simple. We have to get to this part, to the place where we're not just allowing anything. You want our babies to respect that? What was there to respect? There's nothing to respect. When you throwing her around like that, would you have done a white girl like that? No. Nope. But you won't come and do mine like that? We ain't doing that. We're not doing that. You have to, this is where it all turns. When you start doing stuff like this and treating our babies like this, then we have to come for you. We got to come for you. We got to start somewhere, because it ain't going to stop. And he wasn't scared either. He knew nobody ain't going to stop him. He knew he wasn't going to get in trouble. That's because he wasn't a white student. But I guarantee you he wouldn't have did a white student in there. I don't think police officers need to be in our schools in the first place. Mm-hmm. I think you should hire some dads to come and patrol our schools. Exactly. To make sure that our kids are good. Because I'm going to tell you what, they did this in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. And dad's on duty, and they said the school changed. Mm-hmm. So why do we need police officers? You trying to get my child ready for your prisons? Nah. Get out. They don't even treat them right on the school on the streets, but you're gonna put them in our schools around our children? Really? No. That's where you had all that disrespect going on up in there. Because ain't nobody respecting nobody. The kid's not respecting him. He just showed you he didn't give a damn about your child. Right. But we okay with that. And we're gonna leave no parents. What was the parents at? Parents should have came up there. He shouldn't be able to step foot in. Don't even put your hands on him. What you putting your hands on him for? You don't have a right. But we allowed them that right. Yeah. We allow them to treat us like that. We allow them to treat us like that. We allow them to treat our children like that. We don't have nothing to say. And I guarantee you her parents said, well, baby, that's just what they do. That ain't what they do. Her dad should have showed up. Mm-hmm. You ain't no officer today. I'm going to handle my business. Yep. You touch my child like that, you a thug. You are a thug. You're not an officer, because officers don't do that. Right. And I'm going to handle my business. So we're going to put the boxing gloves on something. Well, let's go to the back. Yeah. Because it's time to handle some business. And shame on her dad for not showing up. Yep. But thank you for this. This was a good one. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Cassie. Thank you. Brother Isaiah.
Yeah, let's get it on, baby. We're gonna wrap this baby up right here, right now. I'm here to tell you. Ain't nothing but a thing but a chicken wing. Let me tell you something. I was born black. I'm gonna die black. Black first, black second, black third for eternity. You understand me? We as the people are the most downright folk, the smartest, wisest, and most intelligent people on the planet. We created every civilization in the world. White folks ain't created shit but problems. They brought nothing but death, destruction, disease, and despair to the table of humanity. Are you understanding? Are you feeling me? White folks ain't shit. I can say this a million and one times. I would say it a million and one times more. They ain't shit because they talk shit, and they talk shit because they know they ain't shit. They talk. They playing the Wizard of Oz game, blowing smoke up everybody's ass, making themselves out to be more than what they are. They ain't shit. And when you begin to see that, the first policemen were the Egyptians. We created that idea. In society, we created the concept of society. We created the concept of family. We created the concept of the Senate. We created the concept of political parties. We created the concept of courts and lawyers. Who the fuck do you think King James was? And King Charles and King George? All of Europe had black royal families. All of them. Not white folks just got here. Keep that in your motherfucking mind and soul. Know that. I know that. White folks ain't shit. And they know they ain't shit, but they playing the game, the mind fucking game. You understand me? Don't fucking play with these motherfuckers. If they don't play with that, they'll take you to the ringer.
Yeah.
Each and every motherfucker. If you let them, fuck white folks. I've been, hold on. I'm sorry. I've been there, done that. I'll be 53 years old. My oldest child, my first and oldest child is a daughter, 32. I was a young father, child and a half. I took care of my business. I raised up correct. Understand? When I see this white officer doing what, I don't, was that a boy or girl? Was that a teenager, a boy or girl?
A girl.
Girl.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm not saying it's words, but that just don't do that to a female. But bonds for the win. We got to be active. We got to be active. Fuck all this, he didn't mean it. We were just trying to discipline her. There's some really good white folks. I mean, fuck you. Fuck what you heard. Know what you know, baby. Got to know what you know, cause I'm here to tell you, white folks don't give a shit about niggas. All them white folks who were behind black folks in the movement, they didn't give a fuck. They were there for the money. And I'm here to tell you, if you look on YouTube, what was it called? Brother Muhammad? The black sticks, the big sticks, the big sticks. Look for that, and they'll tell you that white folks were involved because they got something out the motherfucker. They don't give a fuck about white. They don't give a fuck about us. Never have and never will. Don't you ever, for as long as your ass is pointing toward the ground, the sunshine, and the creek don't rise. Don't you ever think that white folks love you. They love to be you. They want to be you, but they will never be you because you are the very essence of this fucking planet where we live on. And the universe is in you. It's called the universe for a fucking reason. One word, love. One word, love. The love of yourself, the love of your own, and the love of everything else. The love of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, the three crowns. that on Solomon's head. Solomon was a black. He married a black woman, and that black woman didn't take no shit now. And she was all up on that ass, Jack. Because I love my black queen. And I married one here. 2 beautiful black boys. We speak Spanish, we speak English, and we learn in Hebrew. That's one of the things that, I've always wanted to do. I am proud to be black. There's nothing better than being black. I'm here to tell you, we are the very essence of life on this motherfucking planet. Carbon is black. You cannot exist on this motherfucker without it being black. Do you understand me? When you drink and eat, it goes inside your body where it's black. Darkness comes light. We're the very essence of what it's all about. Do you understand me? Don't you ever forget. Don't you ever let no white motherfucker who ain't really black, who ain't really white, they're not European, they're not Anglo-Saxon, they ain't none of that. They're just bleached out black niggas. They come from us. Dravidian albinos. Look it up in my book. I spell it out. I don't give no fuck. The White Man's Burden of Lies and Deceit, available on Amazon. I'm here to tell you, when you read it, you ain't gonna put that motherfucker down. You don't. I go into detail, not just 1 or 2 pages. I go into detail as to how we got to this moment. This fucking moment right here. Why do white folk hate niggas so much? Why? Why do they hate us? And I spell it out without any how you say it, Brother Marie, without any hesitation. I empty my fucking brain for all the shit I know. 900 motherfucking pages in the first book and about 500-600 pages in the next book, but it's not written in the way in which history books is written. It's as if I'm like I'm doing right here right now. It's a 2-person conversation.
All right, brother Isaiah, it's time to land that plane.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, I feel you. But this is my last point.
Come on now.
Love yourself, black people, black man, black woman. We are together like this, black man, black woman. We are like this. We can't do without each other, baby. We can't. And white folks love to try to run game. They weak than a motherfucker. And I yield back.
All right. Thank you, Brother Isaiah. I want to thank our panelists, everybody, for coming on and showing your love and giving out good information to our people. We are one people. We are people at war, and we have to be responsible. We have to be active, and we have to win. And I want to say, as we always say, you kill the nigga in you, I'm going to kill the nigga in me, and our God will reign supreme. We are black first. Today, tomorrow, and forever.
Peace.
Love you, family. Peace and blessings.
Stay black, nigga. Stay black.
Go on.
So you better get the message and get it straight. You're going to need some bridge work. It's simple as that. Because we're living in judgment. We're living in implementation.